Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Yes. On a Monday, Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Kyle Ledbetter behind the glass for us. And it's a huge Monday. We know these last couple weeks with the Kings, they are well rested. And we understand that they need all that, but we haven't been getting too many games lately. Well, we got one tonight in Sacramento, taking on the championship caliber, the championship pedigree of the Denver Nuggets. But we got a while before we get into the depths of the Denver Nuggets and the Sacramento Kings. It's going down in Doko. You got to be ready for this. We're going to get to it, though. Golden One Center. It's going to be jumping. Even though it's raining outside, hopefully it'll be raining inside, raining threes. But the Kings are probably going to have to do it without Kevin Huerter. He is listed as doubtful. AC joint, the same shoulder as the shoulder he had his surgery on, but it is his non-shooting shoulder. So we are going to keep an eye on all of that. Also, we have updates on Trey Lyles and who is going to fill in for Kevin Huerter in his absence. Is there no one, or is there someone? Niners talk as they move off of DeAndre Campbell and that situation. You know, we call Jay Glazer the TMZ of the NFL, and Jay Glazer has the backstory. We're going to get to that audio in about 7 minutes here. And what happens next with DeAndre Campbell? And is it as simple as, hey, that's just not going to fly? Or is there still more to the story that will come out? What else is coming out? Trades. Dennis Schroeder. The Nets actually make a move, but it's not Cam Johnson. It's not Dorian Finney-Smith. It ain't even Ben Simmons. Dennis Schroeder having a career year, still trying to build his way back from that money he fumbled with the Lakers a couple years back, finds his way back to California, but it's up north with the Golden State Warriors. Now, they lose DeAnthony Melton to a knee injury, so they end up moving off of DeAnthony Melton. He's now in Brooklyn. He can't play, but Brooklyn will have an easy contract to manipulate when the season is over. So moves are happening. Like we said, it's December 15th was yesterday, and moves are happening. That deal happened before December 15th. So the Warriors have acknowledged we're not good enough. There's also talk that Dennis Schroeder's contract might be aggregated for the Warriors to make another move. So the Warriors have acknowledged we're just not good enough. They lose last night to the Mavs. Klay Thompson has another career game. Looks like he's crying the middle of the court. You have Luka dropping 45. It was ridiculous. And Kyrie doing his thing. Their big three was rocking and rolling. The Warriors lose at home, and that's after they made the move. They have acknowledged we are not good enough. You know what's being talked about out there? Brandon Podziemski's not good enough. Everybody, look, he's going to be an all-star. That's what Joe Lacob said. They thought that his timeline, we know he bounced around a bit, finishes at Santa Clara. We thought his timeline was going to be ready. He wasn't ready, just like Kevin Hart said. So they got to go and get another guard, and just like they did of Dennis Schroeder. So the Warriors have acknowledged that something was off in their prognostications, in their evaluations. Maybe he'll be there eventually, but he's not there now. And you have to be able to understand and wear the L, if you will, so you can continue to improve. We'll talk about the Pelicans. We know nobody knows what they're doing, but at least they're honestly acknowledging that they don't know and that they're just going to possibly blow the whole thing up. If an offer is good enough, we'll listen. We're not really saying no to anybody. There's people we don't want to move, and we're going to make those price tags even higher, but we understand that this isn't working. And speaking of the Pelicans, the Kings get it done. Look, it was supposed to be so simple. Okay? Kings taking on the Pelicans. Pelicans not a good team. But the Pelicans had enough. CJ McCollum, DeJounte Murray, and the ghosts of Pelicans past. But the Kings are able to take care of business. They get more time off. Unfortunately, even that's the tough part about this league. Even with all this time off, the Kings managed to get Kevin Huerter injured. Or he managed to get injured, I should say. So now there will probably be no Kevin Huerter, as again, the Kings are just starting to get rolling. So and again, it's not official, but he is doubtful. So who is going to step up tonight in Kevin Huerter's absence? We will hear from Coach Mike Brown from practice this weekend, and he has some ideas. So we will break all that down. But Kyle wanted to reach out and get you in this conversation. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. It's an amazing Monday today, even though it is capital P pouring rain outside right now.
Yeah, why is it amazing? Can you explain that to me?
Well, we just had a super fun weekend.
Okay.
Me personally, I didn't have to work this weekend.
All right.
That's the first time that's happened in like a year for me.
Amen.
And now we're going to be here talking sports for 4 hours. We've got football talk to get to. We've got trades. I'm just having a really good time so far and I'm very excited to be here and be here with you and just have fun.
I've seen people, as you bring up football, because it looks like the Lions are going to lose David Montgomery for the rest of the season. They don't know, but he's out indefinitely.
They lost 4 starters this weekend in one game.
And this is how I pull it back to the Niners, because we're about to get into the Niners here and this DeAndre Campbell situation. Now, this is what annoys me, if I'm being honest.
Uh-oh.
Because now, yes, it could be Style Espresso.
I could feel you gearing up.
Because you have those friends where anybody got a friend or family member where anything they do is just the worst it's ever been. It's the best it's ever been. It's all hyperbole. And what annoys me with some Niners fans and some Niners media and some Niners fans that are cloaked as media is that when the Niners are just filled with hyperbole, it turns into the Niners are the best team ever. The Niners are even better than the year that they went to the Super Bowl. Now this season, where yes, the Niners dealt with a bunch of drama and injuries and tragedy, Ricky Pearsall getting shot. So yes, the Niners have been through a lot. We get all that. But you go through all these other teams, and the way that some of the Niners, situation gets talked about, it's as if no other NFL team has dealt with anything. The Niners got dealt a pretty bad hand this season, okay? But they still had Debo, who they paid. They still had George Kittle. For the most part, they had Trent Williams. And I'm just remembering now what happened with Charvarius Ward and his daughter, and what happened with Trent Williams and his twins. So it was really bad. It was really sad. It has been. But I'm having to read things where it's the Niners taking on, and I don't even know where people get these numbers. The Niners dealing with a record number of injuries. Record number? Really?
It's not an all-time record, but they are second in the league this year in injuries.
Well, this season, sure.
Yeah.
This season, sure. But the season isn't even over yet. I look at the Bucs. Okay, they got Mike Evans back, but the Godwin situation, they lose Godwin, and you have the Lions. The Lions continue to lose people. They continue to lose people. So it's not that the Niners haven't been in a terrible situation. It's just the hyperbole for me that just is ridiculous sometimes. It was a rough season. Do we need to count off? And I know, like you said, Kyle, they're second, but all these teams are dealing with something. It just wasn't the Niners season, or it seems like it wasn't the Niners season. And that's okay. But we can acknowledge that without making it seem like nobody's ever gone through what the Niners have gone through ever. And that's why that's the only reason they're not hoisting the Lombardi, because nobody's ever had to deal with all of this ever in their life. It's just this is why Brock gets unnecessary hate, because here's the other thing. Y'all spent all last season and the season before saying it wasn't the Avengers, saying it was Brock. And then Brock loses Brandon Ayuk. He loses Christian McCaffrey. And now you change your tune. And I don't have a problem. I do not have a problem with the Niners. Niners winning is good for business. Okay? But it's just wear the fact that Kyle Shanahan he did not coach that well. He had a bad season. Okay? You're supposed to make your money when things don't go well. I'm not saying anybody, but most NFL coaches that have seen some success can do well when they have the best roster in football. That's the other thing. With all the injury and tragedy that the Niners dealt with, couldn't you argue they were the most equipped to deal with it because of how good their roster was? I mean, who else can lose their number one receiver and number one running back? And after I say that, you still have George Kittle. You still have Debo. Did we know that Debo was washed to go into the season? Maybe some people did. I don't think Debo knew. So now all of a sudden, well, they don't really have Debo. Let's not forget, Ricky Pearsall, yes, before he got shot, he was dealing with injury in training camp. There are questions about him being able to get separation. Now all of a sudden it's, Brock can't do anything because the separation is bad. So is he elite or not? And I think he's pretty darn good. I do. But the people that have changed their tunes so that no issue has ever been it's just a bad season. It was a rough break. It was a rough break, and people didn't do as well as they should have. Kyle Shanahan didn't coach as well as he should have. Debo was a bust, and Brock Purdy could have played better. Did he play terrible? No, he's top 10 in QBR. He's 9 in QBR. He wasn't terrible. And the defense, Sorensen, you had Fred Warner, who I guess his foot was broken, something like that.
Broken ankle.
He's playing through that. I just know that we are in the world of the Niners. So that's all I see. And I see that at a deeper level, but you're just not going to convince me that, not that the Niners didn't have maybe the worst deal this season, but that it was so much worse than other teams that are continuing. The season is not over. Yeah. Now the Eagles, I can probably count on one hand the amount of times they've actually had Devontae and AJ Brown playing at the same time. Geno, he gets that shot block, whatever it was yesterday. So can we just say it was a bad season? Does it have to be the worst season that has ever happened in the history of the NFL?
Well, it's not that, because guess who else has had a tough season? The Eagles after losing the Super Bowl last year.
The Chiefs.
Kansas City is doing okay this year.
Well, you never had Hollywood Brown. You lost Pacheco for a bunch. Rashee Rice as well. They're rolling.
So the Eagles had a tough year the year before. The Rams the year before that had a tough year after winning the Super Bowl. They went 5-12. Mm-hmm. The Niners in 2020 had this same exact thing happen. This just happens to teams that play 35 football games in 18 months. It's just the bodies start to break down, man. It can be just as simple as that.
Yeah. And to that point, I know only 5 teams have lost the Super Bowl and gone back. It's a tiny, tiny number.
And it's usually... we can dive into it after the break, but there's an interesting stat that it's like once you hit about game 33 or 34 within basically 13 months, when you talk about preseason the year before, 17-game season, 4 playoff games, about like week 8 or 9 of the following season is when teams physically start to break down. Like the human body's not meant to play more than about 32 football games in the span of 14 months.
Yeah, let's get to the other side here. And when we do, we will hear from Mr. TMZ himself, Jay Glazer, TMZ of the NFL, what went down with the DeAndre Campbell situation and what is going to happen next for the San Francisco 49ers. Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis, put the frosting on the cake, put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand flush makes it 114-106.
Sacramento Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
I love spreading joy with gifts this time of year, but I try not to spread my budget too thin. Luckily, Kohl's has come through for me once again. I just went and used a 25% off coupon to score so many great gifts under $20, like cozy pajamas and fleece, amazing gift sets, and beauty must-haves. So if you're looking to give more for less this season, get to Kohl's. Select styles, offers end December 24th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Starting with a little Niners today, coming off of the NFL weekend. We have plenty of Kings to get to. Starting in about 30 minutes, we break down the Kevin Huerter injury and what Mike Brown has to say as far as who's going to pick up that slack. So that's coming up around 10:45. But wanted to close a loop here on the DeAndre Campbell stuff because it has been reported that DeAndre Campbell has been suspended, and it's very specific. He's been suspended for the final 3 games of the season for conduct detrimental to the team. And the reason they did this, if everyone's saying cut him, he needs to be cut tomorrow, and even actually Mooney Ward said that. Well, the Niners wanting to make sure they really stuck it to him. If you cut him, and we have some of this down here, if you cut him, you have not only do you have to pay him something on top of that, he could get picked up by another team. So the Niners really wanted to stick it to DeAndre Campbell and make sure that nobody else could pick him up that just gets desperate. Like we said, these, not that, he played terribly well this season, but these guys are dropping like flies. So yeah. And I want to get into whether that's fair or foul, but let's play this Jay Glazer sound. And Jay Glazer, he always comes out Sunday with the hot tea, as the kids say. And this is what he had to say happened on Thursday night.
Hey, one of the more unusual situations we've ever seen happen Thursday night. DeAndre Campbell refused to go into the game for the 49ers. What really happened down there?
Okay, first let me tell you, the 49ers are trying to suspend him. They're working with the league office to see what's the max they can do. And even if he wanted to come and apologize and come back, players don't want it. But you're asking what happened behind the scenes. They started seeing about the second quarter, he was refusing to go in. So John Lynch actually went down there in the fourth quarter and confronted him on and said, you don't want to go in the game. You're refusing. Yes, it was Lynch who sent him in the locker room. By the way, I got players who called me after and said, hey, we've heard you talk about this alter ego of John Lynch, this 47 Red character. Man, we saw it. That dude is crazy. Oh, they all saw it firsthand.
I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. You don't want 47 Red. You want John Lynch.
Don't. That's exactly right.
Don't want it.
So apparently John Lynch was ticked off, right? He was ticked off when and I don't know with the I don't know how John Lynch got word. Maybe he could see it from where he was, but John Lynch found out this is what was going on. He said, DeAndre, what's up? DeAndre said, I'm not trying to play. And John Lynch says, well, then get up out of here. So you heard what Charvarius Ward had to say last week. You heard what George Kittle had to say. I hope I don't have to ever have to play with a guy like that again. This DeAndre Campbell has not been with the team. This is the first season. He doesn't have really a connection to the team. I don't know what happened as far as why he decided to do it this way. He's a veteran in the game. He's not some young kid who doesn't know any better. Kyle, I might get killed for this, but I kind of feel like I'm still missing something. And the fact that I understand, right? You quit on your team because you're salty that you didn't, and we still don't, we're just assuming that's why, that Dre Greenlaw took your spot. It's crazy for me to think that there weren't conversations had, or the fact that you got picked up because Dre Greenlaw was injured. Dre Greenlaw, one of the best linebackers in the game. So I don't know what I feel like I'm missing something here. And then the other part of it, and this is what I think I might get killed for, is I'm not saying I find anything wrong with it, but I do find it at the very least interesting that they are so ticked off at the situation, right? And again, DeAndre Campbell needs to handle it. Don't go out there if you don't want to play. But now they're saying, we're not just cutting you, we're suspending you, so you're stuck. You're like in purgatory.
Yeah,
you can't get paid from anybody. You're just stuck out of a paycheck. My initial thought is, hey, you quit on your team, that's what you get. But why do I feel like something is still amiss here? It's just so bizarre.
Well, Alan, that's basically what I said on Friday coming back here is we don't have any information about why this happened.
We still don't, but all we know is that the Niners have decided that we don't even want to allow you to get paid by anybody else.
Well, the 49ers, the locker room, like the actual 49ers, they made their call on Thursday. Like, context doesn't matter. This is one of those cardinal sins of being a football player is everyone acknowledges the risk of what it is that they're doing. And, you know, we're not that far removed from the Damar Hamlin situation where everyone was put in the situation where they're contemplating their own mortality around this game. And, you know, refusing to play is kind of that cardinal sin thing in football. So I don't think the context mattered to them. For us who are sitting here trying to piece it all together, yeah, I think it's interesting that we don't have enough context about why DeAndre Campbell chose to sit out and refused to go in the game and decided to, in some respects, end his professional football career.
Most likely.
There's not a lot of precedent for it, but in the few precedents we have, LeGarrette Blount ended up getting released, ended up having a 3-time Super Bowl run with the Patriots after something like this, but there's not a lot of precedent for a player going through that and choosing to keep playing football. So I think I'm with you in the sense that I can't rush to complete judgment from my seat, not knowing anything about his motivations.
I'm also wondering, is there anything, does it matter? Because is there anything that would make me feel, or that would okay it, right? If DeAndre Campbell, and like I said, he didn't play terribly well. So if he heard somebody talking trash, you know what I mean? And somebody saying, I'm so glad Dre Greenlaw's back. This guy, DeAndre's been a bum, and I don't want to see him. I'm just saying, is there anything that would excuse his behavior? Probably not. I'm trying to think of what it could be. All I know is nowadays with these podcasts and everything, we should hear from DeAndre Campbell maybe in a couple years, maybe sooner than that.
Yeah, maybe not a couple weeks, but maybe this offseason we'll learn more. I think someone's going to do the reporting, right? Someone is going to dive into what's going on there and we'll hear about it, because it's not like one of those situations where his privacy is to be respected on something like this. I don't think. Obviously, I don't know, but I assume someone will dive into the reporting, because if there was justifiable reasons behind it, you would have thought they would have came out before the Niners went through the whole process of suspending him and trying to get back some of his pay and all that stuff. It seemed like if he had good reasons, or at least reasons that didn't make it look as bad, maybe we would have heard from it by now. Or, you know, you and I are kind of like fence sitting a little bit right now. Maybe the reasons are even worse than we're thinking of, and it's going to lead to people leading to more ridicule and judgment on DeAndre Campbell. Who knows?
Yeah. So it just is such a bizarre situation, and to just cook the rest of your career. Maybe he felt like he was almost done anyway. Who knows? What I do know is we will be right back in about 2 minutes. Got to get to a break. When we return, Kyle corrects my style espresso. What? Also, Diana Rossini says that Kyle Shanahan's seat ain't as warm as mine. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
I spray and scrub, but the soap scum in my bathtub is still there.
I spray and scrub, but the burnt sauce on my stovetop sticks around.
Sprays can leave grime behind, but Mr. Clean Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser combines the scrubbing power of an eraser with the cleaning power of Dawn to melt away tough messes on contact.
Just wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic than ever with Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Did you know that replacing garage doors is the biggest return on investment homeowners can get on improvements? Jason Ross here, and let me tell you about the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, a family-owned and operated company with third-generation owners that's been in business for 71 years right here in Sacramento. With new garage doors from Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, you'll not only get the wow factor, but you'll also know that you're working with a well-respected and proven company. Residential and commercial, brand new garage doors, or repairs to existing doors, they do it all. Take advantage of their free at-home estimates on new garage doors or check out the showroom with no appointment needed. And while you're at it, mention me, Jason Ross, or Sacktown Sports and receive $100 off a new garage door paired with a new garage door opener. Check out their website at ohdsac.com or call them at 916-421-3747. Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, the genuine, the original overhead door. Always look for the red ribbon logo.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. The winter months bring joy, but also with more rain and snow, unfortunately, more accidents. Over the last quarter century, thousands of Northern California residents have looked to Ashton & Price to be their root op with a law license to guide them through the storm of an injury claim. As always, we wish you and your family the safest and happiest of holidays. But if you need us, at Ashton & Price, we're here for you. So whether you've been naughty or nice, happiest holidays from Ashton & Price.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
The most wonderful time of the year has officially begun at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet in Sacramento. This is the sale you've been dreaming of, with holiday hits on every aisle. 12 full days of unbeatable prices on only the best Makita products in town, and much, much more. Free batteries with tools, free tools with batteries, and bare tools starting at just $99. So check us out at 6701 Power Inn Road in Sacramento, or shop our Christmas deals online at fastenersinc.net. Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet. Better tools, better prices.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kip Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kip Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sacktown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. It's Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Good Guys Heating and Cooling. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sacktown Sports.
Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking you to 2 p.m. Somebody on the Sack Chat, we're talking some Niners now. Kings talk starts in 15 minutes. But G on the Sack Chat. Shout out to the Sack Chat, our YouTube chat. If you're driving right now, when you get home, you want to keep listening. Don't feel like finding your AM radio in-house. Check us out on YouTube.
Also the app.
Also the Sacktown Sports app. That's correct. G on the Sack Chat says, Styles, what about a Herder for Wiggins trade? Wiggins would be a great fit. G, let me tell you this. Number one, coming from the Bay Area, let's not forget, I mean, Wiggins, that 2022 season was incredible. But besides that, Wiggins' career has been pretty eerily similar to one Harrison Barnes. I think that Wiggins had a much higher ceiling and higher expectations than Harrison Barnes. But, you know, he's been in and out with family stuff. That's number one. But before we even get into all that, the Warriors aren't doing that. The Warriors wouldn't give up Andrew Wiggins. This report came out, I think, at the beginning of the weekend. The Warriors were not willing to move off of Andrew Wiggins for Jimmy Butler, which begged the question, what are you actually trying to accomplish, Warriors? So you don't want to give up Kuminga. You don't want to give up Pajemski. You don't want to give up Andrew Wiggins. The Warriors literally feels like they're acting like fans. We don't want to give up anything, but this is what we want. So with that being said, G, I think that Wiggins would cause a couple other questionable issues just as far as what you get from him every single night. I think you get 2022 Andrew Wiggins, then yes, that would be incredible. You're going to get that every night. And number two, the Warriors, now they don't want to move off of Andrew Wiggins. Maybe they're more willing to move off of Jonathan Kuminga. Who knows?
It literally can't happen. They cannot get Jimmy Butler without moving off of Andrew Wiggins.
They can't. So they're not getting Jimmy Butler. So thanks for that note, G. We'll get into more of that, like I said, in about 15 minutes. Let's get to Mike. Let's open up the phone lines on this beautiful Monday. 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. I mean, you got to drive slow because of the rain, but it is still a beautiful Monday. What's up, Mike? What you got for us?
Hey, guys, thank you. The conversation you were just having about DeAndre Campbell kind of dovetails into my bigger point, which is the last 3 years ago, the 49ers problem was created, and that's when John Lynch or whoever is in charge traded 3 first-round draft choices and a third-round draft choice, potentially 4 starters. We go crazy and say potentially 4 Pro Bowl players for Trey Lance, who never played a down, and they immediately knew when they got him into camp, this guy can't play. I mean, they didn't give him one bit of look after they saw him. And so if this team, the Niners today, had 4 more starters, wherever those draft choices would have been, they had 4 more starters, 1, 2 Pro Bowlers, maybe, who knows. All of this talk would be just irreverent. I mean, I'm not irreverent, but it wouldn't matter. They would have so many good players. They would have won the Super Bowl. They would be back in the they'd be in the contention right now. It's the front office, and everyone is talking about John Lynch, like he's some sort of god. He screwed up that draft, that trade. He screwed up DeAndre Campbell. There had to be something out there that said this guy was a nut. And we're the ones holding the bag, being fans, and Brock Purdy, he's good. He's okay. He's not Joe Montana. He's not Steve Young. He's serviceable. There's other guys I'd rather have, whatever. But it wouldn't even be a discussion if we had those 4 draft picks. And I have not heard one person talk about that.
Yeah. No, that's great stuff, Mike. Happy Monday to you. That might be one of the best Niners calls that we've had on this show. Because you're right, Mike. You're right on a multitude of levels. Because number one, they went up to this day. Like I said, these Hulu shows about stuff that we already know, whether it's the Clippers or Aaron Hernandez. I don't want that. What I want is to find out, who did the Niners actually want in that draft? Did they get scared out of Mac Jones? Did they make those trades and give up those pieces and not know? They didn't want Justin Fields. They passed on Justin Fields. Who did they actually want? And that 2021 draft, honestly, it just stunk. We had reports that they decided we just need to be up there and anybody will work. That's Kyle Shanahan getting in his own way. That's Kyle Shanahan thinking that he is such an offensive genius. It didn't matter. Well, if it didn't matter, why do you have to give up 4,000 draft picks to move up? If it doesn't matter, or if it doesn't matter, why do you have to move off of Jimmy Garoppolo? They thought that draft class was going to be so good that I truly don't think they knew who they were going to take. And the idea, I've always said this, and I got to be careful here. I'll put it as safely as I can. I think the Niners saw Trey Lance and really, really wanted to see Patrick Mahomes. And I'm being complete, and I've said this for years. From the size, yes, you know where I'm going. At the time, the hair, they thought they were getting their Patrick Mahomes, who they missed on a couple years ago. They thought we can turn. He's got the rocket arm. He can do this. He can run a little bit.
He actually looks like if the actor that would play Patrick Mahomes.
And Kyle, like I said, I'm being dead serious here. I used to work with this guy. Changed my baseball career. Okay, he played for the Expos for years, and he taught me a lot about hitting. And he told me, he said, Allen, when you are trying to get drafted, you need to remind scouts of someone. Whether it's the way, and he was serious, whether it's the way you wear your pants, whether it's the way you swing, whether it's the way you cut your hair, whether it's the way you wear your uniform, your jersey, you need to remind them of something. So this is real. That Dylan Raiola from Nebraska, that team that fell off a cliff, why were we all talking about him? Because he was cosplaying Patrick Mahomes. So I think that the Niners got up there. They gave up those picks, had no clue what they were going to do, and figured, well, maybe this guy will be the next Patrick Mahomes. Turns out they get into camp and he can't throw. Then they say that, oh, we're not just running him because he can't throw. We're running him. That's by design. Then they trade him and say, yeah, he was not ready to throw. So I think that's a great point, Mike. Now, you can't cry over spilled milk. We understand that. And the Niners have to move forward now. But again, you're making more mistakes. And I'm not calling Ricky Pearsall a mistake. Maybe he'll be the next Jerry Rice. I don't know. What I do know,
I'll tell you that he will not be.
What I do know is that this was before the Brandon Ayuk injury, and you drafted them and brought them all into camp. Brandon Ayuk was holding out. Maybe they thought that you would move. Maybe they thought that they'd move off of one of them. I don't know. But you got Brock Purdy running for his life. And to Mike's final point about the Brock Purdy thing, they got Trey out of town. That was a miss. Look, I thought maybe Trey needed some more work. Turns out I was wrong. I'll be honest. I thought the Niners should have taken Justin Fields. That's what I thought. And it turns out that whole draft class stunk.
Yeah, but Justin Fields would have been better.
He would have played more. And yeah, Mike said Trey Lance didn't play. Yeah, he got 4 starts and he's got 4 career starts. And, that rainy game where, hey, well, he didn't really get an opportunity. Look, man, he can't even get on the field, and the Cowboys aren't playing for anything.
Well, to Mike's point about the players that you get from the draft picks if you don't make the trade at all, or even if you take a Mac Jones and he busts out and then you go to Brock Purdy anyways. In the Super Bowl last year, I remember Bill Barnwell talked about this exact point, which is maybe with those picks, who knows what happens, but maybe you take a right guard, maybe you take a linebacker, maybe you take a safety. None of the players that are immediate impact guys, but the thing that fell apart for the Niners by the Super Bowl last year was their depth. they just, Burford misses a block here. Feliciano does this. And all of a sudden you're like, well, what if they had just a decent right guard, like a first round right guard, like Cesar Ruiz for the Saints? If they had picked Cesar Ruiz for the Saints, not blowing it out of the water, but the Saints don't look at their offensive line and say they have issues at any position, right? So, a depth thing comes into play when you give up on those picks. Again, the Niners always never make sense because they then hit on players in the 5th and 6th round to replace the misses early in the draft. But if they had both, I mean, they would have been in a super ideal situation.
And that's the whole thing. Now they want to parade around Brock Purdy and say, look how smart we are. But in reality, aren't you kind of telling on yourself to say, well, if you were this smart, then you never would have needed to give up the picks since you're so good at finding talent late. So why did you give up those picks? Great call from Mike. We got more calls coming in. Ashley, we saw another call coming in. We're going to get to both of you, and then we will get to some Kings talk with Mike Brown talking about Kevin Huerter's possible absence. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find De'Aaron Fox is Sacktown Sports.
Spins away from the defender, in the paint, soft floater. That's a great play by De'Aaron Fox.
Hey, Sacramento, it's De'Aaron Fox, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-5795. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Yeah, that's my girl in the Dylan Scott, Country Till I Die Tour. That's my girl. Platinum selling artist Dylan Scott. With special guests Jackson Dean and Avery Anna. Just can't have mine. Thank God she loves me. God knows I got so lucky. Friday, January 10th, 7 p.m. The venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com.
Ho, 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 ho. Looks like you made the ice list this year.
Santa, don't you mean the nice list?
No, ice, because Prestigio Jewelers carries all the ice you need.
For over 30 years, Prestigio Jewelers has offered in-house financing and fine jewelry. Guaranteed credit approval between $400 and $10,000 with no money down options. Make this Christmas season unforgettable. The perfect jewelry, the perfect price, helping you build perfect credit. With locations in Sacramento, Stockton, Merced, and Fresno, or online at prestigiojewelers.com.
Ba, 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 ba. Yep, 'tis the season. Hey, if you take pride in your gift giving, here's a great idea for you. Gift cards from the Good Feet store. Okay, so arch supports aren't exactly what they've been hinting for, but you know they'd love them. And with the Good Feet lifetime warranty, it's a gift they'll enjoy forever. Buy a Good Feet gift card now, and Good Feet will boost its value 20%. That's a 20% gift from the Good Feet store. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville, and in Reno on South Virginia Street.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hobble Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening for the Wrap Up the Year sales event?
Well, I can't believe we made this work. I had to double check to make sure it was legit. But right now you can lease a new 2024 Dodge Hornet RT plug-in for as low as $5 a month plus tax for 24 months with $49.95 due at signing.
Sorry, I must have misheard you. Did you say $5 a month?
I know, it's crazy. But for less than the cost of a cup of coffee each month, you can be driving around a brand new Dodge Hornet. But this $5 a month deal can't last long.
Yeah, I can see why. If you want a new car with a monthly payment half the price of a fast food meal, you better hurry into Hoblet Dodge in Woodland. Search, select, and save through our whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection, nobody beats Hoblet, period. $5 for 24-month lease offer before tax and license. Must be California West Business Center resident. Rebates include $6,500 SFS hybrid electric federal tax credit, subject to change without notice, and $2,500 West BC lease cash. $49.95 due at signing. 10,000 miles per year with 30 cent fee per mile over. Tax and license extra. For this net savings, sample VIN A13914. See dealer for details.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
It was all good just a season ago for the San Francisco 49ers. Look, we were in Vegas, enjoying ourselves. I was taking caricature pictures with Cam Newton, and all of a sudden now we're here, and the Niners will not be going to New Orleans. I remember we were fighting with the morning show about who would get to go to New Orleans, because we all know that Carmichael Dave loves him some New Orleans, and Carmichael Dave said, yeah, you're not going. It's going to be me if anybody's going. Yeah, that was a fight for no reason, because I don't think anybody's going to be going, as the Niners have just a, what is it, Kyle, a 0.1 chance
0.1. Although weirdly, their odds got slightly better this weekend.
Okay.
I don't know what it is right now.
Well, I know I'm assuming the Seahawks losing helps.
Yeah, the Seahawks losing and the Cardinals winning oddly also helped.
So there you go. You got to take care of business, and the Niners, look, they took care of DeAndre Campbell. Took care of DeAndre Campbell. They got him up out of there as we continue the conversation. About to get into some Kings talk on Kevin Huerter, but Ashley wants to chat about the Niners. Actually, the Kings. What's up, Ashley? What you got for us?
Not much. I was actually, my call was pertaining to Kevin Huerter. With him potentially not being in the rotation today, because I heard that he was doubtful last I heard.
Mm-hmm.
What if he isn't going to be playing today? I know that one of our big talking points lately has been how good the Kings are when Kevin Huerter is doing well and scoring like 10 plus or what have you. What are you looking for as a key today if he is unable to go to help us get that win? Is it Keegan Murray? Are you looking at like De'Aaron Fox? Who do you think has to be the catalyst today?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Ashley. I think it's going to be from a couple different people. To your point, though, on Keegan Murray, we're about to hear from you. Led us right into the Mike Brown note that we wanted to play from this weekend's practice. But I would say this is a night for Keegan Murray where, off the top of my head, Jamal Murray is their best non-big, right? And Jamal Murray is probable, but I don't see any reason why, and maybe I'm being disrespectful to Jamal Murray, but I don't see why a De'Aaron Fox or a Malik Monk, I don't think it has to be a Keegan Murray assignment. And I don't really think that Michael Porter Jr. is a guy that's going to just really tire out Keegan. He's not a volume scorer on that team. So I think this is a night where Keegan should be able to have a little bit more breathing room scoring the basketball. He's not guarding Anthony Edwards or anybody like that. So I would say Keegan. And as far as Kevin Huerter and the bench is concerned, this is what we wanted to play from Mike Brown in terms of who could do some things. And I don't know that I saved the whole clip of it, but just in case it doesn't say the person that he's kind of alluding to would be Colby Jones. Here it is.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things, we got to find it. And, we got to find it by committee. It may not be one guy. Kevin's been playing well for us. Even when he hasn't, quote unquote, shot the ball well, he's done a lot of little things at his size that have impacted the game the right way. We just got to find it by committee. It may be one guy for 3-minute stretch and then another guy for a 2-minute stretch. And, again, guys going to get opportunities. And, if I'm behind Kevin, I'm going to try to come in and play hard, see where the chips fall, and take advantage of any opportunity that's given to me.
Are you just waiting for someone to sort of have a moment and step up, or do you think that you're going to have to do it by committee this whole time?
Preferably if somebody can step up and grab hold of it, and I'll run with it. Like I said, a prime example is I did that with Keon as an undrafted second-year player that played a year and a half in the G League, and now next thing you know, he's getting real minutes. So if somebody can find a way to do that, I'm not afraid to go with them. But they're going to have to do it convincingly.
Like along those lines, how much of what you see in practice versus games dictates, when you turn to guys? I mean, can guys earn minutes with their practice?
It's a little harder in practice because we don't have contact. We don't, we're not going live, and so everything is technique driven, and it's more mental than physical. And so, yeah, you can get a feel, but sometimes it doesn't always translate when the lights come on and guys are playing hard out there, and it's real. So when they get opportunities, whether it's in what everybody quote unquote calls garbage time or not, you got to go play the right way, but play extremely hard.
So the very next question, and he just went a little long answering it, but it was from Brendan Nunez, and it was about Colby Jones. And Brendan essentially says, hey, Colby seems like he's taken a good bit of those minutes. What have you been seeing? And Mike Brown mostly talks about the defense. He says that at the G League level, Colby can shoot enough, right? But at this level, it's basically, hey, guard who you can guard. Colby's got a good frame on him, and he's able to not get pushed around. And he is able to get to that paint. And he says that magic word, if you have your bingo card out, that we still need to make, by the way. Still need to make that Kings bingo card and get to those spray threes. So he talks about it mostly on the defensive side, which then brings the question back to what Ashley had to say. Offensively, what are you seeing? But I do think that does lend itself more to Keegan Murray because Colby is able to guard. I mean, Colby will probably, if he plays tonight, he's going to see time on Jamal Murray. And I think that he could do a pretty decent job on Jamal Murray. So again, that's Keegan not having to guard him and not having to guard some of the guys that take a lot of energy. So I would say, yeah, looking forward to tonight. Got to be a huge, not a huge Keegan Murray game. He just has to be you need 15, you need 10 to 15. You start looking at those single digits, and you're probably already going to need more from a DeMar DeRozan and a De'Aaron Fox. Who De'Aaron, I'm just thinking about it as far as prop talk is concerned. I don't think De'Aaron's gone over 24 points the last 5-6 games, something like that. They've been winning, so it hasn't been necessary, but who knows? I keep thinking every game, this is going to be the game where, and I'm just thinking about it as far as De'Aaron's averages and his points per game average, even though it's not just about that. We know his assists have gone up since Malik has entered the starting lineup. But yeah, you're going to need probably an effort from everyone. But I'm looking at Keegan Murray to help out.
Yeah,
here.
I'm curious what the shot per game averages are for De'Aaron Fox over the last few games, and that assist versus shooting ratio, at least in the games since they made the switch to the starting lineup. To Mike's point about Colby Jones, I think it's interesting that they're giving Colby Jones every opportunity to succeed, right? Or every opportunity to show them that he is worthy of rotation minutes, because I think that is a better strategy than giving the run to Doug McDermott or giving the extended run to Jay Crowder, guys who weren't on the team in October and probably won't be on the team next year, if I had to guess. So I think I think giving Colby the opportunity, especially now where they are trying to figure out long-term bench rotations. Obviously, Herter and Lyles were the guys the last couple of years, and now both of them are out. I like that they're giving Colby every opportunity to show them. He was down in the G League on Sunday, and he played excellent down in Stockton. So I like that they're giving Colby every opportunity in the world, not just to play basketball, but also to get run with the actual rotation minute guys.
Yeah, and he's not hurting the team in any way, just offensively. He doesn't jump off the screen offensively, but he plays his heart out. He's, like we said, he's 6'6", and he's a built 6'6", right? He's not skinny or slight at all. The other, and it's because when you brought up Jay Crowder and Doug McDermott, it's interesting because those guys can be more 3 to 4. Really, Colby is more of a 2 to 3 at his size, and really looking more like 3. The way he plays is more like a 3, and he's going to guard a lot of those 3s and bigger 2s. The Jordan McLaughlin thing, look, he was never supposed to save the team, but it is a little bit rough that you brought in a veteran, and I don't really mind it because to your point, you got to see if Colby's going to be able to get there and what you have with Colby, but it would be nice if between the combination of Jay Crowder, Doug McDermott, and Jordan McLaughlin part of the reason you have a thin bench is because those guys can't even get minutes. So I don't mind. It's two separate conversations. I don't mind Colby getting minutes, but it would be nice if the guys that you brought in could help the fact that you have a thin bench. And right now they can't, or they won't. That's just what it is right now. All right, let's get to the 11 o'clock hour. A big trade happened. Does it worry you about this team? And does this say that the Kings should make a move as well? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Every rose has its thorn.
Get ready for rock legend Bret Michaels, bringing his unforgettable show to the Nugget Casino Resort in Reno on December 28th. Experience all the hits, all the energy with the iconic voice of Bret Michaels. And here's the ultimate rock star bonus, a chance to win a signed guitar from Bret himself, exclusively at the show. Don't miss your chance to rock out and create memories that will last a lifetime. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. December 28th, Bret Michaels at the Nugget Reno, where rock and roll dreams come true.
The holiday driving season is here, and my good friends over at Jiffy Lube have an awesome holiday oil change special going on right now. Get a full synthetic oil change starting at just $76.99 with a $33 off coupon online. That's right, starting at just $76.99 for up to 5 quarts of full synthetic motor oil with the online coupon. Go visit jiffylube.com right now, find a location near you, and get that $33 off full synthetic oil change coupon now. Most vehicles are covered, specialty vehicles and diesel are extra. You got to show the coupon for discount. See the store for details. Happy holidays from Jiffy Lube. Hey, it's Carmichael Dave coming to you from my good friends at American Energy. Look, it's already cold outside. It's only going to get colder. American Energy wants to help you stay warm and make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of the $49 tune-up inspection. Normally $119, $49 right now, and that includes a full safety and duct inspection. And check it out. If your system's over 10 years old, and I'll bet it is, the tune-up, yeah, it's free. It's free from a company that's been in business since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ Better Business Bureau. Check their Yelp, check their Google reviews. Don't take my word for it. Give them a call right now. $50 off your first recommended repair. If you need a new furnace, half off the price of a new unit. Check them out at theaeway.com and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9998 now.
Coach Doug Christie here for your truck headquarters, Folsom Lake Ford. Shop all your favorite models on sale now, like America's best-selling F-Series. Check out a huge selection of Mavericks, F-150s, and Super Duty trucks, or tech-filled SUVs like Explorers and Expeditions. Plus a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. All in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall. Right now, buy any new Ford with zero down on approval of credit. Save big with low interest finance rates. And Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. Hurry to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, a 6-time Triple Crown winner for sales and service excellence. That's why they are my trusted dealer, and they should be yours too. For 35 years and counting, come down and take a test drive today. Tell them Coach Doug Christie sent you, or shop online at FolsomLakeFord.com.
Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing strategies that deliver results. On your next campaign, aim higher. Go to aimyourdigital.com and get started today. aimyourdigital.com.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
As the Sacramento Kings get ready to do battle tonight with the Denver Nuggets, we continue to break down how the Kings are going to get it done without Kevin Huerter, if he can't go. Not to say that he can't, but he is listed as doubtful AC joint. So he is working through that. And it looked really awkward. Now, he did make the free throw right after that. And I love how, as fans, you see that and you think, he's good. If he missed it, oh, my goodness. He's cooked. Well, he made the free throw, but, you know, that adrenaline can be very, very strong. So we will keep an eye on Kevin Huerter. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Doug. Wants to take us back to some Niners talk. What's up, Doug? What you got for us?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing pretty good. Actually, it's just in general about, who you were able to draft and what was available stuff. And I always go back to is either you have the ability to judge talent or you don't. And sometimes you hit and more often you miss. So I don't blame anybody in particular. I mean, there's some guys that roll the dice and go, I'm going with that guy. Whatever they had for their scouting, advanced scouting and all those guys that give the input and everything, and then someone's going to go in and make that decision in the war room, whatever, and that's what happens. You can go back. I always bring back Quincy Doobie. I said, who in the heck picked that guy?
Yeah,
but that's a while ago. And those kind of things stand out. You're going, why would you go in and give up that much of your picks and stuff for the future? And everybody's got to be. I mean, you got to be nuts on. I'm sorry, but that's how it is. That's all I have. You have a great show, and have a good day.
Thanks for the call, Doug. Yeah, it reminds me of the Daniel Jones draft and how at that time there were some people thinking, oh, man, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Why didn't the Giants go with Dwayne Haskins? And obviously he went to Ohio State, RIP to Dwayne Haskins. And a lot of people thought, what are the Giants doing? Now the Giants, in their mind, I don't think they thought they were trying to outsmart anyone. I don't, off the top of my head, Colin, we can pull up that draft. Off the top of my head, I don't know if they're sometimes the draft, like I said, from 2021, there just weren't any good picks.
Oh, there was definitely one, because I remember they should have taken that person.
Who was it?
Trying to remember now. I think I'll pull it up in a sec. I want to say that was the year that Josh Allen, the linebacker, was picked right after.
Well, I'm talking quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks. No.
Yeah, I'm talking quarterbacks. So they thought, hey, this is our guy. We like this guy. He kind of reminds us of Eli Manning. The Giants, and he got to his second contract and took him to the playoffs, but didn't end up being their guy.
But this is the same thing you were just talking about with the Trey Lance. He only reminds you of Eli Manning because he kind of looked like Eli Manning.
Yeah, but the Giants, to Doug's point, they got in that war room. They felt like they had their guy. They weren't going to be swayed. And honestly, it could have been kudos to them for, hey, this is our guy. This is what we like, and this is what we want. And it ended up not working out, but it wasn't as bad as the Trey Lance situation.
Which, to Doug's point, the thing that I would mention besides you either are able to evaluate talent or not, is that there have become a greater consensus around talented players now because, in my opinion, there's more people doing the draft analysis and the scouting than there is an actual need for scouting. And so you get a consensus on who the best athletes and best players are. I think the bigger thing is development once you get players into your organization, because between all of the 32 organizations and the draft scouts for ESPN, CBS, and Bleacher Report, and everywhere else, like, you usually come to a consensus of who the 20 to 50 best players are in any draft. Everyone is able to evaluate talent in such a way. It's the people who are able to navigate the weird drafting system with trade ups and trade downs, and do we get a proven player or a draft pick, and how they develop players once they get into the organization. And the thing that I've always given the Niners credit for is their ability to discern and develop while not making the really, really bad pick, right? Like Solomon Thomas was a bad pick, but it wasn't a pick so bad that it completely derailed the entire process for them because they got Nick Bosa the next year. So it's like, it's that fine line of don't make a move so dumb that it ruins the entire run for your organization. Like the Raiders of John Gruden just missed year after year after year with draft picks. And also being able to make trades up and down, I think, is the more difficult thing to navigate than talent evaluation at this point.
As we get back to the Kings, and not just the Kings, teams that have made moves, I don't know, I'm not going to call this a blockbuster trade, but the Warriors definitely got better. They go and they get Dennis Schroeder from the Brooklyn Nets, who is having a career year. And what did it cost the Warriors? That's what everybody wants to know. DeAnthony Melton and 3 second-round picks. Now, if you are the Nets, Dennis Schroeder was on an expiring deal. Okay, so you get back DeAnthony Melton, who can't play, but is also, I believe, on an expiring deal, and you get 3 second-round picks. So I think this is a win-win. The Warriors don't really look. They care about the future in some capacity. That's why they don't want to move off of Brandon Podziemski and Jonathan Kuminga, but they know that they need to win now. So each season, there's going to be a bunch of guys that they're bringing in that might just be with them for a season here, a season there, to try to get back to that promised land as they look for number 5 with Steph Curry and Draymond Green. The Warriors have been struggling. After starting the season 12-3, the Warriors are now 2-8 in their last 10 games. They are 8th in the West. So it has been a tough go for the team out there in the Bay. So they're hoping that Dennis Schroeder stays hot, right? That's always been my fear. You get that guy. Dennis Schroeder's a good player, don't get me wrong, but you get that guy that's just been playing out of his mind on a team and the Nets aren't terrible, but he's playing on a team that isn't going anywhere and playing very well. Now you get to a contender, the lights are a bit brighter. Let's see what Dennis Schroeder can do. So they bring him in, and I think the biggest story here is what the Warriors had to give up besides Dennis Schroeder completing the rainbow, the NBA Rainbow Challenge, which is playing for every team that has a color scheme that gives you every color of the rainbow. It's been Dennis Schroeder and Shaq who did it as well. So Dennis Schroeder, the Raptors, the Thunder, the Lakers, the Thunder's orange jersey, the Lakers, the Celtics, now the Warriors, the Hawks, and the Lakers purple jersey.
Some people make the argument Chris Paul also completed the NBA rainbow because he had red Rockets, orange Suns.
Yeah.
But it gets funky because then it's like yellow New Orleans Hornets, blue Clippers. Some people make the argument Chris Paul's also gotten there.
I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. But Dennis Schroeder, career year, he's been balling. It cost the Warriors a guy in DeAnthony Melton that they really, really liked, but he got injured, and they're literally, as soon as DeAnthony Melton got injured, their season just went in a tailspin. 3 second-round picks, the Warriors at that point, you got to give up something. You get back Dennis Schroeder. They hope that he can ball out. But the interesting thing, as far as the Warriors are concerned, to pull it back to the Kings, is this is from Evan Sittery. He says the Warriors have the necessary salary to potentially acquire Cam Johnson and Dennis Schroeder from the Nets. Brooklyn is seeking expiring contracts, which Golden State has an abundance of. Keep a very close eye on these two teams as potential trade partners before the deadline. After the deal happened and they only got Dennis Schroeder, the Warriors did, Evan Sittery says, after holding trade talks that included Cam Johnson alongside Dennis Schroeder, the Warriors were unwilling to relinquish Jonathan Kuminga to make it happen. Golden State then pivoted to focusing solely on Brooklyn's veteran guard as a key piece to their second unit. And honestly, he might not be a part of their second unit. He might be starting. So we will tell you why that connects to the Kings, as we've talked about those package deals as well with Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson, and what that's worth to the Sacramento Kings versus a Cam Johnson and Dorian and Dennis Schroeder for the Warriors. the Nets wanted Jonathan Kuminga as well as other trade assets to get Cam Johnson and Dennis Schroeder. Now, what do you think the Nets would want in order to get Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith? Yeah, we're going there. The question is, would you do it? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The quest for ring number 6 happens here on Sacktown Sports 1140.
My ball, George went up and caught the ball. Touchdown! San Francisco.
Listen on Sacktown Sports for all the 49ers action.
Jennings went up and took it away. What a catch by JJ. He scored 3 touchdowns today.
Quest for 6 lives here on your local sports leader, Sacktown Sports 1140.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening for the Wrap Up the Year sales event?
We're giving you a head start on next year with up to $16,000 off MSRP on new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4s, starting as low as $36,325.
Wow. You guys are always looking forward.
Not only do we have great deals on new Ram trucks, the Hoblet Family Dealers is growing with a huge selection of used cars at the Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Supercenter, with over 220 vehicles available and over 45 under $20,000.
Now more than ever, Hoblet needs to be your first stop when you need a new or used car. Search, select, and save through our whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection, nobody beats Hoblet, period. $16,000 total net savings on select new Ram 1500 models after $10,500 factory rebates and $5,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include $1,500 Chrysler Capital bonus cash. Must finance through Chrysler Capital qualify. $500 business upfit, business ownership, and $500 upfit required. And $2,000 Ford Conquest cash. Must own or lease a Ford. No trade-in required. 10 at the net savings. $36,325 sample VIN 544-890. See dealer for details.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Getting you through this rainy Monday, the Warriors made a move, and it happened before December 15th. And it's a move that they hope will get them back on the winning side of things. As hot as they started, it has not come together for them. They are sitting at 8th. At one point, they were first in the West very, very early on, but now they are sitting at 8th, and I believe I just said they were 2-8, 2-10. They're 2-8 their last 10 games. It has been quite the struggle. So with that being said, Evan Sittery, friend of the station, future friend of the show, says that the Warriors were unwilling to move Jonathan Kuminga to get the combo deal. Okay, acting like this is in and out, to get the combo deal for Dennis Schroeder and Cam Johnson. The Warriors are a bit delusional, okay, because they don't want to move Andrew Wiggins for Jimmy Butler.
Oh, for a half second, I thought that was Evan who was saying the Warriors are a bit delusional.
Excuse me, that's me. That's me. That's me.
I was like, dang, Evan said that in a tweet?
He's probably thinking it. They don't want to move. They didn't want to move Jimmy Butler, or they didn't want to get Jimmy Butler. They didn't want to move Andrew Wiggins in order to do so. And now Evan Sittery is reporting that the Warriors did not want to move Jonathan Kuminga to get the combo. And I guess I don't know if it's Jonathan Kuminga and just add him, because if it's Jonathan Kuminga, I would assume it would be more, but I don't know. If it's Jonathan Kuminga, DeAnthony Melton in 3 seconds for Cam Johnson and Dennis Schroeder, I think the Warriors are tripping. I think I would have done that deal.
I don't know. Maybe it would have had to probably been a revised deal, because I would imagine
less second rounders, maybe.
Well, let me ask you this: if those are the players we're talking about, is Kuminga the centerpiece of that trade in your opinion?
Yes.
Okay, so then probably picks are going the other direction, or maybe we're just not trading any picks. Who knows?
Right. Maybe it's just straight up. The point is, when you look at the Warriors and how they value Jonathan Kuminga, I said this on social media. Yesterday once the whole thing came out, because obviously my comparison has always been, not that they're the same player at all, but my comparison has always been Jonathan Kuminga to Keegan Murray as far as how these teams value their young talent. They are not the same players. I think Keegan Murray is better right now. I think that Jonathan Kuminga has a higher ceiling. So this is what I said once that was reported, and you have Jake Fisher saying it as well. the Golden State Warriors would have had to trade Jonathan Kuminga if they wanted to acquire Dennis Schroeder and Cam Johnson from the Brooklyn Nets. To acquire both Schroeder and Cam Johnson from the Nets, as league sources say, was also weighed by the Warriors. Almost certainly would have required them to surrender Jonathan Kuminga. So my question is, as we open up the phone lines here, 916-339-1140, and this is what I said on Twitter, I think Kings fans can chill on the Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith package deal unless you want to give up Keegan Murray. Maybe that was obvious. Maybe that was an obvious statement, but a lot of people were chiming in, and a lot of people were saying that they would do that deal. Some were saying that they wouldn't. Some were saying that Cam Johnson is 28, 29 years old, and he's playing at a high clip. Do we think that's how he will continue to play throughout his career? Who knows, right? So would you do that deal? Because there's no way you're getting both without Keegan Murray. That also tells me that you probably can get Cam Johnson without giving up Keegan Murray, but instead of seconds, those are going to be first rounders. Let's compare Cam Johnson's career to what he's doing this season. Cam Johnson, his career, 307 games, 12 points per game, 3.9 rebounds, 1.8 assists. This season in 24 games, so small-ish sample size, 18.5 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, 2.9 assists. He's shooting 43% from three. His career, he shoots 39%. He's shooting 48% from the field. He is shooting 45% from the field in his career. Even if we just compare it to last season with Brooklyn, last season he was at 13.4 points per game. This season he's at 18.5. Again, it's still fairly early. Minutes played, last season he was playing 27 points per game. This season he's playing minutes per game. This season he's playing 32 minutes per game. So if it's some version of Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson for Keegan Murray, and I don't know, you got to make the money work. So if it's Trey Lyles, Keegan Murray, thank you, Kyle. He's locked up now. Trey Lyles, Keegan Murray, assuming that money works, which it probably doesn't work because I know both those guys are making close to $20 million. So whatever you got to do, but the point is you're giving up Keegan. That's your main asset, and you're getting Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith in return. Would you do it? I feel like you'd have to, honestly.
No, I'm not doing it because Cam Johnson and Keegan, if the trade package is built around Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson for Keegan, Kevin Huerter, Trey Lyles, and draft picks, just take Cam Johnson and Keegan Murray out of the trade and just do the Dorian Finney-Smith deal, because Cam Johnson and Keegan Murray are basically the same player. And the whole point of going out to try and get Cam Johnson was to add multiple wings and multiple multiple players with length who can defend. The point wasn't just to switch.
Right. If you swap, you're still,
I'll say this. Keegan Murray and Cam Johnson are basically the same player this year in terms of value. They're both 6'8". They're both
not the same player this year, though.
They're
Cam Johnson is playing better than Keegan Murray this season.
It's not as much as you would think. So in terms of efficiency rating, Cam Johnson is currently sitting at 14.5. Keegan Murray's at 13.3, which is slightly better. Cam Johnson this year, 13.4 points a game. Keegan Murray, 15 points a game. Keegan has more rebounds. Cam Johnson has 2.4 assists. Keegan has 1.7 assists. They're not. Cam Johnson's playing slightly better than
Cam's
Keegan.
at 18.5 for points.
For points, he's at 18.5. Sorry, I've got wrong numbers.
Yeah, he's at 18.5 this season.
That was his last year, 13.4. Yes. So there you go. So Cam Johnson is playing better than him slightly this year, but the point, they're not that dissimilar. They're basically the same player at this point. So at that point, I would just do what I've said they've been doing the whole way through, which is just get to the offseason with Keegan and get to the contract extension window or the negotiation window. That I don't know why they would sell on Keegan now when we all agree he's having one of the worst he's having the 3 years of his career, this is probably the worst season of his career so far.
And I'm not saying to move off of Keegan. I'm saying anybody that thought that you could get 2 players of note from the Nets, if they needed Jonathan Kuminga for Dennis Schroeder, who's an expiring deal, and Cam Johnson, if they wanted Jonathan Kuminga from the Warriors, if you want that combo deal, Devin Carter ain't enough. If you want both, you're going to have to give up Keegan. I'm not saying you have to. You can do the Dorian Finney-Smith deal and keep Keegan. You can do that. I was just saying that conversation that had been had of get both guys from the Nets and keep Keegan, I don't see that being possible.
Yeah, that I think is fair because no, I shouldn't say that. Draft picks talk. The draft picks do talk. So I won't say outright it can't happen. It's just, again, Devin Carter plus additional draft compensation would be how to make it happen. And honestly, I think we realistically should not talk about both Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith being in a trade. It should be one or the other.
Yeah,
is what's going to happen there because the Kings aren't in a position to make large roster overhauls at this point. And if they were to trade for Cam Johnson, I think the way they make that deal happen is with draft compensation, not by swapping Keegan Murray for Cam Johnson.
Well, the other question is too, as much as you just kind of alluded to these guys being so similar, you already have DeMar DeRozan, and people had questions about DeMar DeRozan hindering Keegan Murray's growth. Then you bring in Cam Johnson. Couldn't you argue that would hinder Keegan Murray's growth as well?
Well, it depends on what they do with the rotation. So let's say for example, they put together the Cam Johnson for Kevin Huerter, Trey Lyles, and draft picks package like we'd been talking about before. Does Monk go back to the bench in that situation?
Maybe.
And if that's the case, does Keegan then play at the 3 while Cam Johnson plays the 4?
Right. And now you have look, it's, I guess you could say, a good problem because they can all shoot.
Yeah.
But there's only one basketball.
But I would make the point that if those two things are true, moving Keegan to the 3 would be, especially on offense, be beneficial for Keegan's development.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully.
I was just saying, but if they move Keegan to the bench, that's obviously not beneficial to his development.
I just don't see them moving. They're not going to move Keegan. If they got Cam Johnson, I think DeRozan might even go to the bench before Keegan. You just have so much invested in Keegan. If they were going to pull Keegan off the bench, I think they would have already done it.
Well, if they were even going to shop Keegan, they would have done it by now. I'm going to reiterate the same point, which is just that Keegan is the number 4 pick in the draft. He started basically every game the last 3 seasons. The team has a lot invested in his success, and it would be shocking if they moved off of him before they even got a chance to negotiate an extension with him. By the time we get to May, I'm sure we're going to have interesting conversations about what does Keegan Murray's contract extension look like, and we'll compare it to the Patrick Williams deal.
Right.
And we'll compare it to all these other, players from the 2019 draft class or 2020 draft class. But I just would be shocked if the Kings just sold before they even got the chance to negotiate a 4-year extension with him.
Kings aren't just in talks with the Nets. They are also in talks with another Eastern Conference team. We'll tell you who it is on the other side. Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia. I'm meteorologist Kelly Curran in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. We are expecting areas of patchy fog this morning, along with rain showers moving in. Temperatures will be starting out in the low 40s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA app.
DC here, and if you've been thinking about a new car, don't miss year-end savings at Folsom Lake Kia. Hurry in for low payments and zero-down deals with approved credit. Folsom Lake Kia, over 25 years, right here in Folsom.
Rock the Bells presents LL Cool J. Live in concert. LL Cool J. Saturday, January 18th. The venue at Thunder Valley with DJ C-Trip. LL Cool J. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss LL Cool J live.
Ho, 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 ho. Looks like you made the ice list this year.
Santa, don't you mean the nice list?
No, ice, because Prestigio Jewelers carries all the ice you need.
For over 30 years, Prestigio Jewelers has offered in-house financing and fine jewelry. Guaranteed credit approval between $400 and $10,000 with no money down options. Make this Christmas season unforgettable. The perfect jewelry, the perfect price, helping you build perfect credit. With locations in Sacramento, Stockton, Merced, and Fresno, or online at prestigiojewelers.com.
Get huge year-end savings on the all-new 2025 Silverado now at Maida Chevy.
With $8,000 off MSRP after rebates on select new 2025 half-ton Silverado LT and RST.
And Maida Chevy has one of the largest selections of new 2025 Silverados in the Sacramento area.
$8,000 off new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Special financing leasing some of their office.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPfest.com. It's Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Good Guys Heating and Cooling. Find out more at CITPfest.com.
Get ready for Sky River Casino's $1 million Vegas Spin, where every play could lead to $100K. Earn entries playing your favorite slots and table games for a chance to spin the wheel and win up to $100,000 cash. Snag a free daily entry at our promo kiosk. Plus, score 100 bonus entries every Tuesday and Friday. The thrill begins Saturday starting October 5th through December 21st for a chance to spin your way to $100K. Visit skyriver.com for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older.
I'm Craig Ashton with the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. It may sound contradictory for a personal injury firm to wish you a safe holiday season, but we at Ashton & Price wish that no one has to suffer an injury in an automobile collision. But if you're an accident injury victim, you can lean on Ashton & Price to do all the legal legwork. They introduce you to the best medical care providers in the area, so during this holiday season, you can focus on your health and your family. So from all of us at Ashton & Price, we advise you to have the happiest and safest of holidays.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
You know, when it's all on the line, you need a big-time closer, and that's especially true when it comes to your garage door. And that's why I recommend National Garage Door, 638-4554. Whitey Gleason here for National Garage Door. Whether you're looking to repair an existing door or get a brand new one installed, you need National Garage Door. Family-owned and operated. They've been around since 1974 because service is their number one priority. National Garage Door are the region's BSE, it's broken spring experts. Styles, prices, and quality of the new doors will amaze you. Our garage door was starting to sound kind of, and that's not good. So Kevin from National Garage Door came out. He said patching up the old one was an option, but we're getting a new garage door. We're pretty happy about that. National Garage Door sells quality Rainer branded garage doors. They offer sales, service, and installation on all residential and commercial doors and operators. If you have garage door needs, old ones coming apart, or you're looking to improve your curb appeal, let National Garage Door come through for you in the clutch and be your closer. 638-4554, National Garage Door.
The holidays are always a great time to get together with family and friends, but nothing beats the thrill of Stockton Honda's deals. During Happy Honda Days, find the perfect ride in person or online. With over 400 new Hondas ready to go, now is the time to buy at Northern California's #1 Honda deal, Stockton Honda.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Number one claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Auto Motor Company sold on report.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Getting some reports from today's shoot-around. Can't fully confirm that Kevin Huerter didn't participate, but let's just say this, he was not seen. Okay, Brandon Nunez is there. He was not seen. So does not feel like Kevin Huerter will be playing tonight. So the Kings will do battle with the Denver Nuggets down one of their key role players. Rob Bishop on the Sack Chat doesn't seem to think so. He says, when we were talking about Kevin Huerter earlier, stop acting like Kevin Huerter is something super important for the Kings. I mean, Rob Bishop, nobody is saying that he's LeBron James, but when you have a thin bench, yeah, he kind of is right now. That's not to say that you shouldn't look to improve, right? Everybody should always be trying to improve, but he's pretty darn important right now. You have a rotation of 8 on a good day. You moving Malik to the starting lineup makes, funny enough, it actually makes Kevin Huerter even more important. Not being a starter, he's even more important because you have nothing coming off of the bench and you need something. So Kevin Huerter, Keon Ellis, and a combination of Colby Jones, Isaac Jones, Dougie McBuckets, whoever it is. So right now, Kevin Huerter is very, very important. So tonight, when you're watching the Kings, hopefully those starters, it feels like we're going to be back to that old school. Maybe they just beat the brakes off the Nuggets, but I watched the Nuggets. When did they play? A couple nights ago. I purposely watched as much of the game as I could. And Russell Westbrook, that team is nothing to sneeze at, especially when you get Jamal Murray back. So it's more about all hands on deck. All right. I mean, if we're not talking about trades and we're talking about having Kevin Huerter and not having Kevin Huerter, I'd rather have Kevin Huerter. And it doesn't really look like the Kings are going to tonight. No official word yet, but he was not seen at shoot-around, and that's not a good sign. Not a good sign. Yeah, doesn't look like we're going to have him tonight, and that's a big deal. It's not a big deal if you're going 10 deep or 9 deep.
But we're going 7 deep.
But you're going 7 deep. Yeah, I watched on Friday when they beat the Clippers, and they were rolling. Like I said, we'll do our full-blown breakdown and preview a little bit later in the show. But the Clippers had everybody that they've been normally rolling out. They started Norman Powell, Nicholas Batum, Zubac, James Harden, and Chris Dunn. So it sounds like they might have been somebody there. Sounds not right in their starting lineup, only because we've played the Clippers so often. But the Nuggets, Michael Porter Jr. had 17, Aaron Gordon had 14, Nikola Jokic had 16. Kind of quiet day for Jokic, and they still won. Jamal Murray had 20, and Christian Braun had 8. And you got the Julian Strothers of the world, the Peyton Wassers of the world, both in double digits with 12 and 14, and Russell Westbrook and what he brings. So, it's all hands on deck. We'd definitely like to have him tonight.
They're still trying to figure out their bench situation too. So it's interesting to have that parallel versus the Kings kind of figuring out their rotations, or at least the rotations they want to run, and then the curveball being thrown of no more Kevin Huerter.
No more Kevin Huerter. No more Kevin Huerter. 916 says getting Cam Johnson or Dorian Finney-Smith only makes sense for the Kings if you keep Keegan. They don't need both because Keegan probably has more upside over Finney, and they also have a project in Isaac Jones. That's from Tony. Yeah, I think you're right, Tony. I don't think the Kings need both of them. There was a conversation that we had before the season started and early on in the season about just wanting as many wings as possible. But yeah, I don't think realistically they get both. They probably don't feel like they need both. And again, going back to the age of Keegan Murray and the age of De'Aaron Fox and the age of Malik Monk, these guys are not in a Warriors situation. They're not even in a Lakers situation. They can still, play it slow and leave it on simmer if they want. I think they should turn it up a little bit, because you got to keep De'Aaron Fox happy, but you don't want to sell on Keegan Murray too soon. And then you are the Kings. How much do the Kings Vegas odds change if they get if they trade Keegan Murray, Kevin Huerter, Trey Lyles, and some picks for Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith? How much do their Vegas odds change to win the championship? I mean, it's better, but I don't know if it changes that much.
Oh, and their bench also just got more thin than it already was.
Yeah, so...
And also, we're talking about trading Kevin Huerter, who currently can't play, and Trey Lyles, who currently can't play. So it's not like they're getting a ton of value in return.
They're not. Guys. They're not. And they're not just looking at – the Kings are not just looking at the Nets. They're also looking at Old Faithful, The Wizards, they have had some, Evan Sittery is reporting, they have had some exploratory talks with the Nets and the Wizards. Kyle Kuzma, who has been long connected to the Kings. This thing is still going. And one day it's going to be over. And I think some people are going to be very happy. Some people are going to be very sad when this is all said and done. But yeah, the Kyle Kuzma conversation carries on. And I 1 second you read that his value has gone down. The next second you read that it hasn't. And there is still a very strong market for him. So,
dude, I'm just going to assume he doesn't get traded. Like, at this point with Kuzma, I'm just going to assume that the Wizards are going to hold on to him through the deadline. And if he did get moved, he might be one of the 4 biggest names that does get moved at the deadline, but I just don't see the deal that's going to make that happen, because the Wizards value him like a 2 first-round pick value kind of player. And it doesn't seem like any of the suitors do, but apparently there's a lot of people who want to trade for Kyle Kuzma. And I'm just gonna assume the Wizards aren't gonna lower their value enough to make a deal happen.
Yeah, this is from Evan Sittery, the report. The Kings have inquired about 3 of the top wing options on the trade market: Cam Johnson, Kyle Kuzma, and Dorian Finney-Smith. Sacramento, one of the more active teams, had been dangling Kevin Huerter and Trey Lyles in various exploratory talks to land an impact player. So there you have it. It's the same thing we heard last season. Just replace Trey Lyles with Harrison Barnes. The same exact thing. It feels like maybe the Kyle Kuzma thing isn't going to happen, but I do honestly think that something is going to happen. I do. It just, this can't continue the way it's continued and nothing ever come of it. It feels like something, even if it's not Cam, I feel like at the very least it's going to be Dorian Finney-Smith.
You're saying at trade deadline time?
I don't know. I just think that the Kings will make a move.
I don't know.
And maybe Dorian Finney-Smith is considered a mini move, but it will be something.
Dorian Finney-Smith, I think, would be a medium-sized move if they did that, because it would mean moving off of one of the core players of the last 3 years, right? It would be Lyles in a Dorian Finney-Smith trade, but it just means moving off of someone who's been a core piece of the team for the last 3 years. So I would consider that to be a big move, because there aren't that many of those players. We keep talking about players who can get moved. I mean, there's not that many left, right? Beyond the starting 5, all of whom are untouchable, presumably in trade talks right now, or at least not being shopped in trade talks.
Right. They're untouchable for the names that we've seen out there.
Yeah. So there's the starting 5 that they seem to want to continue to run the core with. Then you've got Lyles, Huerter. No one's really going to trade Keon Ellis at this point just because of the value he brings. Isaac Jones is an undrafted rookie. And then you've just got, the McLaughlins and the McDermotts and the Crowders and the Alex Lenz that are just minimum contract guys. So there's really not that many players to actually trade at this point, which means there's only but so many moves they can actually make. So I would say trading any of them would be at least a medium-sized move, because you're moving off of one of the 8 core players.
916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. There is I wouldn't call it a report, but the Kings are being mentioned for this high-scoring guard. Why does everyone keep trying to give the Sacramento Kings more guards? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Malik Monk plays here.
Headed left, goes right, steps back, launches the 3. Nothing but net. Oh, that was just filthy. Oh, my, that was sweet.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hi, I'm Justin Gingery. One of the most common questions I receive is what makes us different from other law firms. At Gingery, Hammer & Associates, we handle your case from beginning to end. Whether your case reaches a settlement, whether we need to file suit, or even take it all the way to trial, we will be with you along the entire way. And because we are committed to you and your case, we are as invested as you are in making sure you get the outcome you deserve. If you have an injury, just call Gingery.
The year has officially begun at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet in Sacramento. This is the sale you've been dreaming of, with holiday hits on every aisle. 12 full days of unbeatable prices on only the best Makita products in town, and much, much more. Free batteries with tools, free tools with batteries, and bare tools starting at just $99. So check us out at 6701 Power Inn Road in Sacramento, or shop our Christmas deals online at fastenersinc.net. Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet. Better tools, better prices.
Get even more savings this holiday season by becoming a Milo's Rewards member. Don't miss new member deals dropping every week, like $15 off a purchase of $50 or more on select Bounty, Charmin, and Puffs paper products. Plus, get free standard shipping with Silver Key status. Just one more way Lowe's is here to help you shop, save, and enjoy the holidays. Join for free today. Milo's Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Visit Lowe's.com/terms for details. Subject to change. Exclusions and more terms apply. Visit Lowe's.com/shipping terms for details.
It's football season, and Uber Eats is dropping undefeated deals on all your game day favorites. This week, score buy one, get one free world-famous pancake combos from IHOP, only on Uber Eats. Craving even more? We've got you covered with game day deals on pizza, burgers, tacos, and more all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms, taxes, and fees apply. See app for details.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people, obviously. But what's more, MediShare members like it a lot. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. Imagine that. And MediShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before December 31st and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is December 31st. So call now and you'll save even more. Here's the number, 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE, 877-26-BIBLE.
Merry Christmas from Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And we're still celebrating Black Friday all month long. When buying a car, getting a good deal, it's kind of the easy part. Where Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram really sets themselves apart from anywhere else is the experience, from sales to service and everything in between. It's why so many people keep coming back to Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. It's because it's the place where a handshake still means something. And if you've been wanting to experience that Jeep life, there's no better time than now. SacSuperstore.com, located off of Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course.
It's Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room. And guess what? Primetime football is back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. As always, offering the best food, the best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. So check them out, Capital Casino, and always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
When it's cold and rainy outside, Bonnie is leading the way home. Right now, stay warm and cozy with a full furnace tune-up, just $59. Plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Schedule an appointment today at Bonnie.com.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Bovada, and you know we always have a lot of fun with Bovada. The Orlando Magic are the favorites to land Anthony Simons in a potential trade per Bovada official. Orlando Magic at plus 400. They've been looking for a scoring guard for a very long time. Orlando Magic at plus 400. Miami Heat, second at plus 500. San Antonio Spurs, third at plus 600. Denver Nuggets, fourth at plus 900. I wouldn't want that. Golden State Warriors are fifth at plus 1,200. And at sixth, the Sacramento Kings at plus 1,600.
Ooh.
I don't understand it. I mean, I don't know that he's terribly similar to Malik Monk, but he is a high volume scoring guard. And I like Anthony Simons. I think he's going to be good. I think the Blazers have way too many. They have too many big men. They have too many guards. They're not sure what they're doing. And I know in Blazers world, I came across something in Blazers world. A lot of them are already done with Scoot. Okay, they're calling him by his real name. That's how you know they're almost done with Scoot.
Dude, the Scoot thing is crazy. Have you seen his stat line from the last game?
It's been very bad.
Dude, last game they played against Phoenix. Scoot coming off the bench, and the starting guard was Shaedon Sharpe.
Mm-hmm.
Scoot Henderson, 19 minutes, 2 points, 4 assists, 1 rebound.
Yeah, I mean, if you're draft, and I get it. Sometimes you're right about this stuff or wrong about this stuff as far as shooting is concerned and shooting developing. If you're drafting a non-shooting guard in 2024, 2023, I can't help you.
Well, I don't understand still to this day why everyone said Scoot was this, and this, if this is what we're seeing on the floor. Because I will say it takes a minute for these guards coming into the league to find their stride. But man, it's been 100 games for Scoot. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Right. And they stink. So it's not like he's been wanting for playing time. He's been out there.
Does it feel like, because I said when Portland traded Damian Lillard, I said it was a weird timing because Portland had already done the hard losing in order to get the draft picks that would become the next group that they would build around.
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel like Portland is still like 3 years away from being competitive, 3 years into a rebuild?
Yeah, it kind of does. And again, this goes back to the blowing up thing. Now, Portland's a different situation because they really did milk the Damian Lillard experience as long as they could have. So that is not what we're talking about with the Kings and blowing it up too early. But yeah, it's a mess out there. So Anthony Simons, who he got his rookie extension, what was it, last season? Or the season before, the Kings find themselves in this conversation, and I have no clue why. That's not what the Kings need. They don't need – I know they haven't been shooting the ball well, but I don't think the Kings need more scoring from the guard position. And honestly, if you're Bovada, I think maybe they have those odds set simply because at this point they're thinking, well, the Kings are obsessed with taking guards, so we might as well put their name on there since they want to take guards all the time.
I think the more interesting thing is just teams that are actually going to make a trade at the deadline, right? Like some teams are going to tinker around the edges, but like Boston's not going to trade for a key player at the deadline. Cleveland's not going to trade for a key player at the deadline. Like I think they're just reading this. They're strategically picking the play-in teams that are trying to make some sort of move
right
for the future. Like a trade at the deadline for a player who's under contract for 3 years, because they hit on all the targets, right? They hit on Orlando. They're headed for the play-in. San Antonio, they're trying to get to the play-in. Denver, they're currently in the play-in. The Warriors, who have lost 8 of their last 10 and are trading for anybody with a pulse. And the Kings, who are currently in the play-in. So it seems like they're just hitting all the targets of teams that would trade for a player of Anthony Simons' caliber without actually accounting for the fact of Anthony Simons and what he's actually bringing to the team that he adds. Because, like, I don't know why San Antonio would trade for Anthony Simons.
I mean, I guess they're point guard. He's more of a shooting guard. So 6'5", he goes 6'3". He's 25 years old. And it's just, I just don't see, and he already got paid. So it's not as if he's on a cheap contract.
But the Spurs already have 3 Anthony Simons on their team. Why would they want to add another one? They've already got Devin Vassell, who's making more money than him. They've already got Keldon Johnson, who they've been trying to trade for 2 years. And they've got Jeremy Sohan. Like, they've already got this guy on their team in 3 different iterations.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. I wanted to get to this text because I thought it was interesting from the 916. The Kings' obsession with Keegan Murray as an untouchable is going to hamstring this franchise going forward. Why are we so scared? That's a good question, 916. And I would say that I don't know that the Kings are scared. I think it depends on the conversations that are being had. Some of these teams that were in tough situations. I mean, look, you look at who is possibly available to give up Keegan Murray, and there's not a lot of names. I don't want to give up Keegan Murray for Cam Johnson, at least not yet, maybe another season. So I don't want to give up Keegan Murray for Cam Johnson. If the conversation we just had a couple segments ago about getting Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson, okay, I'll have that conversation. But the big names that can take you over the top, I'm not giving Keegan Murray up for Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram still wants to be paid. And you went and got DeMar DeRozan. I'm not giving Keegan Murray up for Jimmy Butler, who's 35 and is too busy dyeing his hair and trolling people and half the time can't stay on the floor. So I know that Keegan Murray isn't untouchable. And if you want to have that conversation about Lauri Markkanen over the summer, I would have that conversation. But as of right now, the names that are being floated around, I'm not giving Keegan Murray up for Kyle Kuzma. So I don't necessarily think that the Kings I don't think anybody is untouchable. I've said it before. Nobody is untouchable in sports. Nobody is irreplaceable when it comes to your job. Whatever your job, 916, whatever your job is, you are not irreplaceable. Nobody is. I'm not irreplaceable. Okay? So I don't think Keegan Murray is untouchable because I don't think untouchables exist. Maybe there's a 0.1%. Okay? The SGAs, the Lucas, because Giannis is no longer in that conversation. Giannis is no longer in that conversation. Steph is no longer in that conversation. There is never more than I would say, I want to say 3, but maybe I'll say 5 truly untouchable players in the NBA at one time. I really think there's only 3 at a time.
Well, let's do a little thought experiment here real quick. So in the grand scheme of NBA players, what would you say Kyle Kuzma is? Like just ballpark, like range of player, the 70s, 80s, 90s, best player in the league.
Like a 2K rating?
No, I'm just saying, like, if you ranked every NBA player 1 to 100, where would Kyle Kuzma be? Ballpark. Doesn't have to be
60s?
Exact. 60s. Okay. So where would you put Lauri Markkanen if you had a list of NBA players?
Yeah, probably right now 40s or 50s.
So if Kyle Kuzma is not a good enough player to trade Keegan Murray, but Lauri Markkanen, they wouldn't let him go because of contract reasons. Like they couldn't afford to keep DeRozan and Markkanen and all that. You're trying to find a player in between, right? Or a player better than Lauri Markkanen. You're either trying to land someone who's in the top 30 or someone in between Lauri Markkanen and Kyle Kuzma. And there's only like 5 of those players, 10 of those players, period, in the NBA.
Then they have to be available.
Exactly. Like if Evan Mobley were available, I think we'd be talking about trading Keegan Murray to land Evan Mobley. But Evan Mobley's not available, right? There's to your point, it has to be someone who is on a cheaper contract than Lauri Markkanen, but better than Kyle Kuzma. And there's just not a lot of those players that exist across the league. If Franz Wagner was available, we'd be talking about trading Keegan Murray.
Or Paolo Banchero. Any of those guys.
But that player isn't available right now. So, and back to the point I said before, the Kings are going to try and sign Keegan Murray to a $80 million extension this offseason. And I think that would be a good decision because $20 million a year players who you drafted and have been in the organization for years do hold a lot of more value than I think people give credit for.
12 o'clock hour. Coming up next, is the Kings' three-point shooting starting to turn a corner at the right time? Well, they're going to have to do it most likely without Kevin Huerter tonight against Denver. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-5795. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Ready for winter? Forecasters are already predicting record sick days. Don't become a healthcare statistic. Fight sickness with fitness. Create a daily workout and stick to it. Let the Good Feet store help you meet your workout goals. With Good Feet arch supports, the pain in your feet, knees, hips, and back become history. And Good Feet arch supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Visit goodfeet.com for an appointment or just stop in. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville, and in Reno on South Virginia Street.
The holiday driving season is here, and my good friends over at Jiffy Lube have an awesome holiday oil change special going on right now. Get a full synthetic oil change starting at just $76.99 with a $33 off coupon online. That's right, starting at just $76.99 for up to 5 quarts of full synthetic motor oil with the online coupon. Go visit jiffylube.com right now, find a location near you, and get that $33 off full synthetic oil change coupon now. Most vehicles are covered, especially vehicles and diesel or extra. You got to show the coupon for discount. See the store for details. Happy holidays from Jiffy Lube.
Get ready for rock legend Bret Michaels, bringing his unforgettable show to the Nugget Casino Resort in Reno on December 28th. Experience all the hits, all the energy with the iconic voice of Bret Michaels. And here's the ultimate rock star bonus, a chance to win a signed guitar from Bret himself, exclusively at the show. Don't miss your chance to rock out and create memories that will last a lifetime. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. December 28th, Bret Michaels at the Nugget Reno, where rock and roll dreams come true.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. It's Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Good Guys Heating and Cooling. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
Maida Chevy saves you $8,000 off MSRP on new 2025 half-ton Silverado LT and RST after rebates. Year-end savings on now with $8,000 off new Silverados at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details.
KHD HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
If you are just joining us, Kevin Herter is not officially ruled out. He is doubtful. And we are keeping tabs on that situation. He was not available, or he was not seen at shoot-around. We don't necessarily know if he participated or not, but he was not seen at shoot-around from the media. We got that note from Brendan Nunez, so doesn't feel like he's going to play tonight. Somebody was saying that they were joining us late. Well, thank you for joining us. 916. The other 916, as we've been kind of going back and forth with them about the Keegan Murray situation, they said, so we're only willing to trade Keegan for a player that's way better than him and who nobody in their right mind would ever give up for Keegan. Perfect. Well, it's not that. We talked about some of the younger players. There's a couple options, right? You're just not going to give Keegan up for a person that is, or a player that's just maybe Keegan, but a little bit older, right? Or something like that, unless you're getting two guys, which is how we got here with Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith, if you wanted to go in that direction. The other options are the young guys, young guy for young guy, Okay. Or you have the disgruntled star, or the star that wants a new scene, right? Because look at the Clippers. Now the Clippers, they're trying to figure things out. Do you think the Clippers regret? Answer me this, 916. Do you think the Clippers regret trading for Paul George? You know who was in that deal? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, I don't know that Keegan is going to be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and I'm pretty sure he won't be, but clearly the Clippers didn't know that either.
That's the risk you run sometimes with these trades.
The Clippers, I'm pretty sure the Clippers don't do that deal. Now we can go down the depths and say, well, would he have played as much if he was with Kawhi and didn't get a chance to go to OKC and get given the keys to the car? Who knows? But I'm willing to bet that he'd still be pretty darn good. So the Clippers traded an MVP favorite right now to get Paul George. They have nothing to show for it. They didn't even get to a finals. So there are situations where it works. There are situations where it doesn't work. The Bucks, they say, hey, Drew Holiday, thank you for your service. We need more offense. Let's go get Dame Lillard. They've done nothing. Now, they didn't give up a young stud or anything like that. But you make these moves. Look at the Suns. You know, Mikal Bridges, he's bounced around a little bit, but you can make the argument maybe the Suns made the right move. Mikal Bridges, he's kind of flatlined a little bit. And you have the Nets, who got a king's ransom for him. And we'll see what happens with the Knicks. They're still very early on in their process, but I'm looking here at just this list, and the problem right now is the guys that you would maybe move for Keegan that aren't the young studs, they're either hurt or they're old, right? I mean, nobody's doing a deal for any of these guys. I don't even know, not that the Steph Curry thing would ever happen. Steph he has kind of struggled this season, right? He's been the main option. Now, obviously, we're just having some fun here, and I'm just going down this list. But Jokic, obviously, he won't move. Giannis has been the guy, but then Giannis and the Bucks, they got hot. The Warriors, we know that ain't happening. Luka, we know that ain't happening. Kevin Durant. Now, Kevin Durant's a guy. What happens if Keegan does end up being a stud and you get a 35, 36-year-old Kevin Durant? You're probably better right now, but you don't win anything. Keegan Murray ends up being a stud, and now you look like the Clippers. Luckily, and the Clippers are L.A., so they could still get James Harden. Or they could still get free agents that way. This ain't L.A., even though it's the Clippers. They're in $1 billion playpen in Inglewood. Joel Embiid, nobody's touching that. Jason Tatum wouldn't be available. The Devin Bookers of the world. Maybe, and Devin Booker's probably the one guy on the Suns that they wouldn't move. Okay? Bradley Beal, I'm not doing that. Jimmy Butler, you know I'm not doing that. Dame is old. Shai's not getting touched. So the guys that it would make sense, hey, we mortgaged our future, but we did it for this player. There's nobody like that right now.
Well, let's jump down the list a little bit, because to the 916's point, those players do exist. And if you want to...
Zion.
Well, yeah, I mean, Zion, they would obviously trade, but they'd have bigger questions to ask if they were trading for Zion, because you'd have to trade either DeRozan or Monk to make that happen. So,
and I'm not doing that, by the way.
Yeah, but let's go back to last year. Pascal Siakam.
Mm-hmm.
Pascal Siakam was a player that some people were willing to trade Keegan Murray. Some people weren't willing to trade Keegan Murray. Those players do come available, but again, Pascal Siakam is a former All-NBA player. They only name 15 of those every year. If you want to trade Keegan for another forward, there's only 6 of those every single year. And the Raptors traded Pascal Siakam, acknowledging that they were doing a complete roster turnover, right? So for those players to come available, there have to be very specific sets of circumstances, because we're only talking about, players between the 30th and 60th best players in the league. And, oh, by the way, their team has to be willing to trade them. Most people want to sign those players to extensions. So there's very specific circumstances that lead to that happening. Also, the money. Keegan Murray only makes $8 million a year. You have to attach him to another contract or trade for a player who is also on their first or second contract that isn't a max. So there's a lot of factors that go into that. But I think the underlying point that we're both saying is Keegan Murray is not a player you trade for Cam Johnson, who's the same player as him. Keegan Murray is a player you package for a player who is much better than Keegan Murray, which you can still do years from now after you've signed him to a 4-year, $80 million or 4-year, $100 million extension this offseason.
So there's not a lot of guys that realistically would be available that Keegan is worth moving for. So it's not about Keegan being untouchable. It's about not necessarily having a guy that it makes sense. If the Giannis thing was continuing to go left, of course, that's no question. Now that spacing would be a bit interesting, but I look at, a lot of guys and a lot of players that are out there, people don't like them and the money needs to work. Karl-Anthony Towns, I guarantee you this time, and actually, I don't have to say they would have. I did the shows. Nobody wanted Karl-Anthony Towns. Nobody would have done that deal. And I'm higher on Karl-Anthony Towns than most. The Knicks are still trying to figure it out, but you're telling me, and I know, and we're not even talking about the money right now because he's making a ton of it, but you're telling me Karl-Anthony Towns, his ability to space the floor with this team that can't shoot right now, Karl-Anthony Towns, Sabonis, DeRozan, and De'Aaron Fox, you're telling me that team wouldn't be cooking right now?
Well, that team would also be paying $130 million in luxury tax.
And that's the other part of it, not wanting to go into the luxury tax. So I think that there are so many different parts of this. It's not simply Kings are overvaluing their guy, because every team overvalues their dude. Their young dude. Everybody's got a young dude. And look, Jalen Johnson for the Hawks.
Yep.
Untouchable. Is anybody outside of Atlanta thinking that and I think he's going to be good, but does that make sense to a bunch of people? There are some that are universal. Paolo Banchero, universal. Franz Wagner, universal. Then there are others where it's Jonathan Kuminga. Does everybody think that Jonathan Kuminga should be untouchable? No. Does everybody think that Keegan Murray should be untouchable? Don't think so.
Let me toss another one out there for you in the similar vein. You did the shows last year, and I was around here filling in different places. But when people were talking about trading for Julius Randle,
nobody wanted to do it.
I don't want to trade
Nobody
Keegan
wanted
Murray
to do
for
it.
Julius Randle. So if Julius Randle isn't that caliber player, let's take it a step further, because most people say Julius Randle is better than Kyle Kuzma. That means for some people, you're trying to find a player who's not as expensive as Lauri Markkanen, but not as bad as Julius Randle. So those players only exist in a small vacuum. And by the way, most of them are the same age as Keegan Murray. I know I threw out the Franz Wagners and the Evan Mobleys, players who are former top 10 picks on their first or second contracts. Siakam was a unique example. I'm just trying to think of those players in my head now. If for some reason Oklahoma City said, we're up against the luxury tax, we can't pay everyone, Jalen Williams is now available for trade. That's a player that 9 out of 10 Kings fans would say, yes, let's package multiple players and picks to trade for Jalen Williams. But obviously that's not going to happen. So the players do exist, to the 916 point. Those players do exist. They only become available under very unique circumstances.
And then the other part of it is the one-of-one deal, right? I think if you can get better in multiple areas, then that's more realistic to me as far as Keegan is concerned. If you can get Kyle Kuzma and Valanciunas, and I'm not even looking at the money, but something like that where you're getting a center and you're getting a Keegan replacement, if you will, it would be a haul, but you are getting much better, I would say, in two different areas. Nick Claxton and Dorian Finney-Smith, or Nick Claxton and Cam Johnson. Yeah, and then Keegan would be a part of that conversation. But yeah, these one-on-one deals, no. Unless it's either, to me, the only way I'm moving Keegan is a combo of a couple guys that's going to shore up the bench and the holes that the Kings are missing, or you're going big fish hunting. Or big fish fishing.
Yeah, because the one-for-one The 1-for-1 deal where it's like a Cam Johnson for a Keegan or a Kuzma for a Keegan, those deals don't make sense because of this underlying point that I don't think we say enough. Keegan Murray is actually a really good basketball player.
Yeah.
Like a really good basketball player. Someone the Kings are probably going to sign to an extension this offseason.
They're going to.
So the only reason to trade Keegan Murray would be to acquire a star caliber player because Keegan Murray is a very good basketball player.
Or a combo. I would say you're getting a combo of real rotation pieces, not back of the bench. Like I said, Kyle Kuzma and Valanciunas. And I don't even know if that's realistic, but that's what I'm saying. So the overvaluing thing, that's not a Sacramento thing. I do now, if you ask me, is there a part of the Kings that want to make sure that they're smart with the Keegan Murray thing because of how things went with Tyrese Halliburton? Absolutely. I do think that is a part of it. They are not in a rush to move any more homegrown talent. I'd even say Devin Carter might be a tough sell or a tough move for the Kings. They'd have to, if they had to do it, they'd do it. But I think the Kings right now are not in a rush to move homegrown talent based on how it was perceived for the Tyrese Halliburton deal. Even though Sabonis has been great, and we do not need to go down that road, even though Sabonis has been great, I don't believe that.
But even that trade, have you seen a trade like that since in the NBA? I like, it was such a unique trade even when it happened. Basically 1-for-1 swap. I know Buddy Hield went to the Pacers too, but basically a 1-for-1 swap of a current all-star for a player everyone projected to be a future all-star. That trade was so unique, and it was so unique because Indiana had 2 bigs, Sacramento had 2 guards, and they happened to make that swap just based on circumstance.
Let's continue the conversation. The Kings are turning it around, shooting the 3 ball, but will it continue tonight with possibly no Kevin Huerter? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Flo here from Progressive to tell you how you get more than great savings with us. You get customer service access through our mobile app, online chat, or by phone.
That's a lot of ways I can get in touch with you. I see what's going on here. You can't name favorites, but I'm your #1 customer.
Actually, we offer all our customers these ways to contact us.
I'm sure you give just any customer your personal
company
contact info.
Well, you did call us more than any other customer this year. So in that sense, you are our #1 customer.
Get help from Progressive through the website, app, chat, or phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their 2nd month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up! And call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Two hours down. A little less than 2 to go. I walked in here and it was just freezing. It was freezing. I told Dave, this is ridiculous now. I could see my breath. It was crazy. Hope everybody's staying dry. Is the sun out? Is that the sun, Kyle, I see creeping?
I don't know. I'm in a windowless room here.
Okay, well, I thought you had an angle on it. I'll check during the break. I saw something, and this reminded me of something that happened to me. And nowadays, you don't know what's fake and what's real. Everyone does everything for clicks and clout, and that's just the reality. We're about to get into this 3-point shooting for the Kings, and Kevin Huerter listed as doubtful. If you're just now joining us, he was not seen at shoot-around. Does not feel like he will be playing tonight, but no official word. And I saw this clip. It was somebody on a plane, and the person sitting in front of them had long blonde hair. Her hair was covering the person's screen. Okay. The person, and it was already awkward having to push over the hair, tries to push over her hair to the left to get it off the screen. And I guess the person didn't know what was happening to their hair, and they fixed their hair, and it goes back over the screen. And the clip is about 30 seconds. So the question was, what would you do in this situation? And it reminded me of one of my flights. This person, I just don't know what possesses people. This person took their hoodie, and he put his hoodie over the chair. Now, I don't think most of these planes don't even have screens anymore. You just use stuff on your phone and you use their app. But his hoodie, the hood from his hoodie was protruding into my space. It was very much in my space. Like if you leaned over to get something from your backpack underneath, my face would be touching his hoodie. And I really didn't know what to do. I just took a picture of the hoodie and just sent it to my friends and complained about it. I didn't say anything, but this is not even a fair or foul conversation. Who does that? Who does that? And I didn't know what to do. Should I have said something to him? Hey, man, can you just hold your hoodie?
If he threw it over this back seat on a plane, then yeah, that's
yeah, the hoodie was protruding into my face.
Yeah, I don't think that's. Wait, so you're saying he threw it over the front of?
No, it's on. He put it. You know,
this
like
is
you put
this
a jacket.
is the person in front of you putting it on the back of the seat. Yeah, that's a weird. Yeah, that's.
Insanity. I think I might still have the picture on my phone.
I think for that one, you probably have the right to pull down the jacket or tell him to move the jacket because, yeah, that's kind of just a common courtesy. You have to. That's what under the seat is for, is to roll up your jacket and put it under the seat.
So I was soft. I didn't say anything. I just wore it. I think it might have been a quick flight, so I tried to just eat it. But insane. Just insane. I just would never think to do something like that.
That's a weird one. I guess I would kind of do the same as you. Like if it's not bothering anyone, it's fine. I'm just saying you were within your right to tell that person to bug off.
Yeah. And I just hope that somebody did it to them so they would know how bad it is. You know, I wanted to get a hold of that person in front of them and say, hey, you got a hoodie? Put in their face. Put in their face. You know, the airplanes, I know people traveling for the holidays, so be safe. And if you're put in that situation, don't be soft like me. Stand up for yourself and say, hey, sit on it or put it on because it's going to get chilly when you're in the air. Ridiculous. Well, the Kings have been scoring at a ridiculous rate, and that just started a couple games ago. But will it continue? The three-point shooting has turned a corner. This is from Bleacher Report. This is what they had to say. Sometimes a team just needs an opportunity or two against tanking clubs to find his rhythm. And this stretch may have been helped to finally get the Kings shooters online. Over the first 21 games of the season, Keegan Murray, Kevin Huerter, and Doug McDermott, DeMar DeRozan combined to shoot 28.1% from deep. Over the last 5 games, a run in which Sacramento is 4-1. Those 4 are shooting 46.3% from 3. Obviously, Doug McDermott's 6 for 7, doing a decent bit of heavy lifting there, and for him to even kind of be in this write-up when he's not getting a lot of time, we'll take it, but we understand the context. Now you have to do it with Kevin Huerter. Number one, you saw him cool off against the Pelicans, and number two, now he's doubtful to even play tonight. They got to find a way, and I do wonder. We talked about, this is exactly what we were talking about, to be completely honest with you. You have Doug McDermott go 6 for 7. And this is what's funny. We just played sound from Coach Mike Brown about an hour ago. And what did he say? He said, we're looking for those guys that we can find to contribute. And he was asked, I believe, by Kyle Draper, is this something that you see in practice? And what did Mike say? Mike said a lot of times you see that type of stuff in garbage time, what you guys call garbage time. That's what he said. What is referred to as garbage time, or what you guys call garbage time, something like that. He was making it clear he does not call it garbage time. But then I go back to the Doug McDermott thing, and the Kings could not shoot on Friday, and you have a dude that went 6 of 7, okay, and the last time he was on the court in under 8 minutes, he doesn't get any time. So why is that important, Allen? Who cares? Well, because now Kevin Huerter has an AC joint issue. He's doubtful, and I guess we're just going to hope that you ain't got to get ready if you stay ready, because my guess is that there is a chance we see Doug McDermott tonight, because you're going to need that type of scoring. Now, if Keegan Murray gets hot, maybe you won't, but and I'm not saying that if McBuckets doesn't score, it's because Mike Brown didn't play him in last game, but this is why I like guys to keep a rhythm, because you never know. So Doug McDermott gets no time after going 6 of 7. Now Kevin Huerter is doubtful. Now you're probably going to have to go to Doug McDermott. And I get it. He's a vet in this game. He is obviously very used to this type of role, but it does just beg the question, why couldn't you just get him in for a little bit? I don't get it, Kyle. I don't get it.
I think the main rotation tonight is going to be Keon, Isaac Jones, Colby, and then one of the centers, either Len or Orlando Robinson at some point. But I guess you could see maybe some McDermott, some McLaughlin, some Crowder mixed in, maybe in like 5-minute stretches. But I think the bigger one is Colby Jones. Are they going to get any kind of offensive production from Colby Jones coming off the bench tonight? Because when he has played extended minutes, not the like he's in for 4 minutes and doing cardio type of situation, but when he's gotten 18-minute runs in games, it's been real hit or miss for Colby Jones this year. And I understand why it's been tough to play him in the rotation, and why he's still, he played in Stockton on Sunday. It's not like he's at a point where he's firmly locked up a rotation spot, but tonight's definitely that night for Colby Jones, I think, more than Doug McDermott or Jay Crowder. I think those players might get run. Game situation matters. If one of the players gets into foul trouble, we've seen Mike mix in some different rotations just out of necessity, but I think the main 8 guys tonight are the starters: Keon, Colby Jones, and Isaac Jones.
Well, I'm just saying you better hope that they're scoring, because if they're all ice cold, I mean, or not all of them, but if you're needing more scoring, where are you going to go?
They got to get double digits from someone on the bench,
yes.
Right? Someone on the bench, and if anyone's going to get to double digits, except for maybe like a spurt where McDermott or Crowder just starts burying 3 3-pointers back to back to back again, I think it's those 3 players are the only ones who are going to have a chance to put up double-digit points, because they're the only ones who are going to get the minutes to potentially put up scoring off the bench. We've seen a lot of 9-point games off the bench from the whole bench unit. 9-point games, 13-point games, 15-point games. I know the bench is going to be shorthanded, but it can't be the Pelicans game where De'Aaron Fox, Keegan Murray, DeMar DeRozan, and Domantas Sabonis scored 97 out of the 111 points or 114 points that were scored in the game.
It's not just about the scoring. It's about closing the game, and the Kings almost blew it against the Pelicans, and they better not put themselves in a position, because we know that Jokic and Jamal Murray, if they are anything, they are clutch. What is happening to the Kings in the fourth quarter? So you add another clutch player and your fourth quarter production gets worse? How does that happen? Let's talk about it. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Holidays at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is expanding. I guess you could say the Super Shop is getting more super. That means more for you, more apparel, more equipment, more shoes, more gift ideas, more of everything you want. If you're looking for the right gift for the golfer in your life, let the friendly team of Hagen Oaks experts help you find the perfect gift. From golf bags to golf balls, from golf pants to golf shirts, from rain gear to golf gloves, Hagen Oaks has it all. And much is on sale. Visit the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Rare Shop, Fulton Avenue at Business 80, or find us at hagenoaks.com.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Rock the Bells presents LL Cool J.
So what you got Chanel on your feet? Hot sex on a platter makes the mission complete.
Live in concert. LL Cool J. Saturday, January 18th. The venue at Thunder Valley with DJ C-Trip. LL Cool J. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss LL Cool J live.
It's time now for your 49er injury report, brought to you by the offices of J.G. Winter Law. In the game versus Los Angeles, the 49ers got back two key defensive players in defensive end Nick Bosa and linebacker Dre Greenlaw. Greenlaw, however, experienced Achilles soreness and played little in the second half. Also, safety Javier Brown left in the second half with a groin injury. Niners lose 12-6 to Los Angeles and fall to 6-8 on the year. Next up for the 49ers, it's Miami.
Serious accident. You deserve the law offices of Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237. Jeremy lost his mother in a car accident and knows firsthand the pain caused by tragedy. That is why he became an attorney to fight for others who are going through a tragedy. If you've been seriously injured in an accident, you deserve more. You deserve better. You deserve Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Nine 339-1140. If you want to be a part of the conversation, got a couple calls we're going to get to as we get you ready for Kings Nuggets. If you're going to the game tonight, tell us what you're excited for. Call in, text in, hop on YouTube, the Sack Chat, Sacktown Sports 1140, and listen on the Sacktown Sports app. And, of course, on your AM, 1140 AM. We were talking about the Kings' three-point shooting and just the bench in general, as Kevin Huerter is listed as doubtful. And it does not look like Kevin Huerter is going to play. We don't have official word yet, but it doesn't seem he's not probable like Jamal Murray is. So Jamal Murray is probable. We are probably going to see Jamal Murray tonight, and we probably won't be seeing Kevin Huerter, who is not seen at shoot-around. Got to get into this fourth quarter situation with the Kings, and we're about to do so, but we want to get to the phone lines, 916-339-1140. Got TC and David. Let's start with David. What's up, David? What you got for us?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
All right, hanging in there. I got three things I want to talk about real quick.
Okay.
The first is the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my guarantee. I'm a nobody, but my guarantee is this. Monty's not going to make any substantial trades. He never does. And he'll sit there and he'll say that we need to preach patience because he has faith in this new lineup and this core, and it needs time to develop. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Guarantee he's going to do that. He did it the last 2 years. Number two is Mike Brown. I really like what you're saying about Mike Brown right now because we all know that he doesn't utilize his bench and he caters to his starters, which is irritating. And that's probably part of the reason why at the end of the games we're struggling like we did the other day against New Orleans. Now, how do you stop somebody like C.J. McCollum? It's real hard. Mm-hmm. But a lot of those points were just from three. He was taking it to the paint. So if you know that your paint stopper is Alex Lynn, then why isn't he in there? Is it because you don't want to embarrass the bonus by taking him out of the game? I mean, if you want to win games, this is how you do it. You don't sit there and cater to your starters all the time, which is a problem Mike Brown had even back going to the Cleveland days. Number three is with some of his rotation guys, like you were saying about Dougie McBuckets. I mean, this guy, when he's gotten in the games, you can tell he's struggling usually because he's getting 3 minutes a game and he's trying to rush his shot. Mm-hmm. It's like, why isn't Brown allowing guys? You see guys playing 12, 15, 20 minutes on the bench with zero stats, which means that the starters that he's got in there are still the ones taking the shot. And it's like, how are you going to, how this doesn't work. So my thing is this core for the last 3 years has not progressed. It's regressed. And even though you could look at the core, Sabonis, Fox, and well, you could say Herder, Monk, and Keegan, but this core is not going anywhere. And I all the Kings guys and fans, we'll go back to nothing. I don't think that's the case. I just think Monty's got to not be scared to make a move to address length and athleticism in the front court and to actually have Brown utilize these players. I think that's how you get over this hump, because right now these guys are not going anywhere. I don't care if they win 50 games. They're going to get bounced because of the way that they play and the way that Brown has this rotation and the team set up.
Thanks for the call, David, as always. Well, I think it kind of goes hand in hand, right? Mike Brown might not feel comfortable with his bench, so he doesn't play the bench as often. Monty McNair is saying, hey, well, and I'm not saying any of this is happening, but Monty McNair is saying, well, you haven't really given this roster a chance and you're not really playing the bench. As far as the Dougie McBuckets thing specifically, I do wonder in some of these situations, nobody's thinking that Dougie is going to be the reason that you have a parade at Doko, but isn't this exactly why you brought him in, right? For a night where Kevin Huerter can't go, you need shooting. So in theory, and I know Keon Ellis can shoot, don't get me wrong, but in theory, wouldn't you say that, hey, this is literally, if you didn't bring Dougie McBuckets in to come in when you're needing shooting, and now Malik Monk is no longer coming off the bench and Kevin Huerter is doubtful to play, why did you bring him in? What exactly did you bring him in here to do besides play the Dougie song when you're already up by 30? So I'm with you on that one, David. As far as Monty is concerned and getting the length, and a couple people in the Sack Chat are wanting me to ask who you would have said, David, as far as who you wanted to add. You got to spend money to make money, and the core and who they care about. That's the thing. To take a risk, Kevin Huerter, in my opinion, Kevin Huerter and Trey Lyles, those are not risks anymore. Trey Lyles, I believe, was maybe even being dangled a little bit last season, but not as much as this season because you figured you were going to need Trey Lyles, depending on who you got back, if you moved to Harrison Barnes. So all three of them have really been in these same conversations. And now that Harrison Barnes is gone, it's now just Kevin Huerter and Trey Lyles. So who is that person that it doesn't feel like Monty is comfortable to move that he would then have to move? Is it a person? Maybe it's picks. And then in return, who do you want back? Like, I think as a fan, in my opinion, if you miss out on Cam Johnson, and God forbid he goes to another Western Conference team, but if you miss out on Cam Johnson because they didn't want to give up a first, I would probably be upset. I would. I don't know that I would be livid, but I'd probably start thinking, what exactly are you trying to accomplish with this team? Because you want to keep De'Aaron Fox happy. So I think it remains to be seen. David, I know you're one of our loyal P0 listeners. So I know you remember me saying that I gave Monty a pass this past season after the Beam team. I think they deserved another shot at it, or at least he could say that they deserved another shot at it. But this go round, I don't believe that they need to see any more. I think that they've seen enough. They beat some bad teams. I think tonight's huge because, and here's the problem. I think tonight's huge. What if they get the brakes beat off them with no Kevin Huerter? Hey, we don't know how good we are because Kevin Huerter didn't play. That's why we lost to the Nuggets. So then there's still an argument that we need more time. So it's tough. You would just hope that these guys could stay healthy so you can see what you have. But to that point, maybe that gives Monty that could give him an out.
Yeah.
We never saw the team. We never had Trey Lyles. Trey Lyles signed that 2-year deal, and the brother just hasn't been able to play.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. The McDermott point you were bringing, though, is when Kevin went down early in the season, Doug was inserted in the starting lineup.
Yes.
So I think your argument of if not now, then when is Doug McDermott going to play is a good one. I just think we should consider the second part of that is when is Doug McDermott ever going to play again on this team, like meaningful minutes?
But that goes back to the Colby Jones thing. So are you using this game? And I'm not sitting here acting like Doug McDermott is Kyle Korver in his prime, but are you using these games to is Colby actually helping, or are you getting Colby run to improve him? The answer they'd say is both.
Yeah, I think it's not that you're using this game for that. You're using those 20 minutes for that. If those 20 minutes have to go somewhere because you can't play Keon Ellis 35 minutes and De'Aaron Fox 41, if those 20 minutes have to go somewhere, we're better served using those 20 minutes to play Colby Jones over Doug McDermott or over Jay Crowder, unless Colby Jones is not giving you production equivalent to those players who, again, might I remind you, weren't on the team in October. So there's a chance that they're getting better production from Colby either way.
And every team has guys like this. It's just highlighted on the Kings because their bench is a problem.
Because they have no other guys.
Yes. We shouldn't even be having conversations about, dang it, where's Doug McDermott and Jay Crowder? We shouldn't be having these conversations.
Yeah.
But we are.
I think the more telling conversation between Colby Jones versus Doug McDermott is Colby Jones versus Jordan McLaughlin. Because at the beginning of the season, those were Jordan McLaughlin's minutes, or at least kind of in that middle when people were starting to get injured.
But they did say, and we're going to get to you, TC, right now, they also did say, Mike Brown did, that they wanted to go bigger. When he was asked about the Keon Ellis situation, Kevin Huerter goes about 6'7", okay? Colby Jones is 6'6". I stood next to Jordan McLaughlin. He's not 6'6", all right? So that could be some of this, too, of how they want to go about things. 916-339-1140. Now, Jordan McLaughlin shoot better than Colby Jones. I know that. 916-339-1140. And he might even get some run with Jamal Murray. What's up, TC? What you got for us?
Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, so I got a little perspective, right? So I'm trying to, try to put my hand on it. I never thought about it from this angle, right? What if, because everybody wants to know about Devin Carter. What was up with the pick? Why did we do that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because he's a two-way player, a dog on a defense, defensive end, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if Monty made that pick? You know how he's always, everybody's like, damn, why you draft Halliburton? Why you draft Mitchell? What if Monty drafted him knowing, like, you know what, if Keegan doesn't pan out, Keegan might be on the table this year. So let me just draft this kid right here. That way I can have something to fall back on if we do trade Keegan. I'm not saying he's in trade, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to put my hand on it, like, you know, what if he's like, you know what, because we know for sure David going to come in playing defense for sure. Like, Keegan is still, like, in the air. Like, sometimes he's logging down, sometimes he's not. You get me? I just don't know, bro. I'm just trying to put it on there. And also, like, the Cam Johnson and Dwayne, like, I would be livid. Me, personally, Styles, I would be livid if we held that trade up because it was a first-round pick, possibly even even 2 first-round picks. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably be mad. For one, for sure. 2, I'd be like, but if we did it, I wouldn't be mad like everybody else would be. Just to get the trade, like, it's about getting the trade done and getting those pieces in to help your team. It's not about the picks, bro. It's about everybody cry about that. No, man, trade Lyles and Herter if we got to do that and juice it up. You know what, Jordy? I'm going to bless you. Here go 2 first-round picks and these 2 players. Send Cam and Dorian over here, bro. Period. That's what matters at the end of the day, getting those players in the organization, bro.
Thanks for the call, TC. Great stuff. Well, look, 2 would be a lot. But again, if you're talking 2 first-rounders, and I got to check, didn't Nick Claxton, didn't he just – and he's another guy who probably wants starter or deserves starter minutes, but I think he just signed a deal not too long ago. But the Dorian Finney, I know it's a wing-driven league, but I'd even go Cam Johnson and Nick Claxton. What's Nick Claxton making?
He got 4 years, $100 million extension in June. So
this is now we're talking luxury tax again.
Yeah, so this is year 1. Although his contract is interesting though, because this is the first year of the contract.
Mm-hmm.
It starts at 28 and goes down. So like normally it's the reverse where it's like the contract gets more as you go down. It starts at 28, then goes to 26, then goes to 23.5, then goes to 21.5.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if that money would work, but I might even want to do that before I would want to do Cam and Dorian Finney-Smith. Real quick, TC, here's the thing. I feel what you're saying, but Devin Carter goes 6'3". Keegan goes 6'8", 6'9". So I don't think I think maybe if anything, I'll flip it on you. And I would say Monty was very clear that he thought they got the best talent in the draft. Maybe if anything, Monty was thinking, if I have to move somebody later, I'm not going to reach on a guy based on position and is not viewed the same way throughout the league. I'd rather get the best talent. And then if I need to move somebody, you could say, hey, we got the steal of the draft in Devin Carter, and we can move that. So it could work both ways on that one. Let's continue the conversation and get to these fourth quarter minutes and what's happening. Where are the Clutch Bros at? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Kevin Herter is Sacktown Sports.
Herter's open, steps into 3. He's got the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Kevin Herter, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more. And then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Seasons change, but if you hope to stay healthy, your body needs to stay active year-round, whether that's in the gym or on the trail or at work. And that's where the Good Feet store can help. Good Feet's personalized arch support system supports all 4 arches, relieving pain in your feet, knees, hips, and back. And Good Feet arch supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Visit goodfeet.com for an appointment or stop in for a free fitting. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville, and in Reno on South Virginia Street.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
One thing that I find really interesting with prop talk, as a lot of these companies and businesses are expanding, they're getting journalists, they're breaking news, and I know Sleeper has done a little bit of it, Underdog as well. And speaking of Underdog, they don't, I guess they have their own person, but Underdog, the actual account, Underdog NBA, says Keegan Murray ankle is now listed as questionable heading into tonight's game. That was 14 minutes ago. We're trying to confirm where else. I'm texting our insiders to just double confirm because things just happen quickly. But it is interesting that now the underdogs and Prize Picks I never see post anything, but Underdog definitely has their journalists breaking and talking about, is mostly news that has to do with injuries because they're handling the props, but they never say, I don't know who Underdog's journalist is.
The Underdog NBA account is like on it whenever there's injuries because their entire business model revolves around whether players are going to play or not. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out who is saying that Keegan Murray is questionable. They listed as an ankle injury. It's both RotoWire and Underdog, although I'm guessing RotoWire might have gotten it from Underdog. So I don't know. We'll see, but apparently Keegan Murray is dealing with an ankle injury of some sort.
Right. I'm checking all of your favorite Sacramento reporters as we speak, and they have not said anything yet. So we will keep you in the loop, but like I said, I feel like Underdog just has some really good journalism going on, or they're wrong. So we will keep you in the loop. But as of right now, Keegan Murray now listed as questionable. Kevin Herter, who we did see reported by our go-to reporters, listed as doubtful going into tonight's game. Could be tough. I mean, now you're definitely going to see Dougie McBuckets if Keegan doesn't play. So we'll see what happens there. Been meaning to get to the Kings of the fourth quarter, but not right now. Here is the Kings plus or minus by quarter in the 6 games since Malik Monk has entered the starting lineup. The first quarter, plus 11. Second quarter, plus 19. Third quarter, plus 40. Fourth quarter, plus 5. And if you take the Jazz game out, where they destroyed Utah, the Kings are -8 in the other 5 games. All right. The 38-point third quarter Friday, led by DeMar DeRozan and Sabonis, was their 5th highest scoring quarter of the season. All 5 have come in the last 6 games since Malik Monk went into the starting lineup. So let's get some theories out here. What are you seeing in the fourth quarter? What are you seeing? What do you think it is? Because the easiest question is, well, it's hot potato. And you have 2 clutch players who De'Aaron won the award. DeMar DeRozan is always a close runner-up. And Malik Monk, who shared that duty with De'Aaron last season. So now that you have all 3 of them on the court, is there, and you had that all season, right? Malik has been closing really since the start of the season. Keon, I think, closed a couple games, but most of the time it's been Malik. So maybe some of the rotations are different with Malik starting, but what is happening with the Kings in the fourth quarter, and how do you fix it?
Just a quick note before we continue the conversation. Brennan Nunez now is confirming that Keegan is questionable. He just tweeted it out. So, yes, Keegan is questionable tonight with left ankle soreness.
Keegan is questionable, and Kevin Herter is now listed as out. O-U-T, out.
That one was more of a formality than it was a question.
Right.
But they put him out before they even got to the final injury report.
So there you have it. No Kevin Herter and possibly no Keegan Murray. That changes things, Kyle. It really does.
That it does. Back to the conversation about the fourth quarter. Sacramento hasn't been doing anything that stands out to me as like, this is what's gone wrong in the fourth quarter necessarily. Because thinking back to these games since then, you had the Spurs game, the first one back, what was that now, 2 Sundays ago, where they jumped out to 42 points right away, and then they gave it up at the back end, and that was difficult. But after that, the Kings have been 4-1 in those games. It's just they've now become strangely a third quarter team. I think that's the more interesting takeaway than what's gone wrong in the fourth quarter, is just they've been a great third quarter team this year. In fact, one of the best third quarter teams in the league. So I don't know exactly what's gone wrong in the fourth quarter per se, because there's not something I'm looking at that's like, this is not right or this is not going well. There was the one game, I think it was Memphis, where Fox had no made buckets in the fourth quarter and DeRozan had 2 points, but I think Fox, Monk, and DeRozan is still one of the best quote-unquote clutch lineups you're going to find in the fourth. I think there's a bigger question about them figuring out just how to play with each other.
Yeah, and I know they're doing less of the DHO and they're adding more wrinkles, but it does turn into, at the end of the game, hey, we've been doing this all game, but now it's, hey, DeRozan go shoot and De'Aaron go shoot, which has worked from time to time. But there have been times where, and I continue to talk about this game, where De'Aaron didn't shoot for essentially all of the fourth quarter, and it's time to tie the ball game up, and De'Aaron is still the star of the team, and De'Aaron takes a shot, and he hasn't taken a shot in 8 minutes. You know, so I don't know. It's just something that's going to take more time. I think I'm willing to say that that's probably the biggest situation or understanding that I would have of this thing just needs more time, specifically the starting lineup. Even though they've been closing, the fact that Malik is starting now does affect it in some way. So I'm not necessarily worried about it, but again, you're going to deal with everything that you've dealt with throughout the game, and now you get to the fourth quarter and it's getting real tight, right? 916 is bringing up that Grizzly game where it was just a lot of DeRozan, and he did get Ja kicked out, but that was more of what we saw at the beginning of the season, where it can get a bit stagnant, and obviously DeRozan is getting his, but then the ball goes to Keegan, who hasn't shot the basketball in a long time, or Malik Monk or De'Aaron Fox. So in the fourth quarter, it's a little bit different because you're not really trying to get other guys going. You're going with the hot hand. But it's, if you were to say big deal, little deal, no deal, I would say right now it's a little deal because they're winning. But it was a big deal in Memphis.
I think it's an interesting trend because that +5 since they made the switch to the starting lineup, that's still good for 11th in the NBA during that stretch. It's not like they're a bad fourth quarter team. It's just before November 30th, I believe they were 4th in the league in fourth quarter scoring, and now they're down to 7th, right? So they were 4th before they made the lineup switch, and now they're down to 11th. And I understand making the argument we need a larger sample size to determine if this is a trend or something different, but it's just an interesting phenomenon that the Kings were an excellent fourth quarter team, and now they're down to an above average fourth quarter team, being buoyed a little bit by the beat down of the Jazz on what was that, last Sunday. So it's an interesting phenomenon to pay attention to as we go along. Because again, 6 games is a sample size. I'd argue I would prefer to have like a 15-game sample size, but the Kings don't have a 15-game sample size with any lineup at this point.
Can't keep guys on the court. And if you're just now joining us, Kevin Herter listed as out. Okay, and Keegan Murray is listed as questionable with an ankle. So we are keeping an eye on that. And when we hear more, we will let you know. Let's get to that Kings versus Nuggets preview on the other side. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime, forcing layoffs on the line. Call Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's. That means it's time to save big on your next job. Right now, get your choice of 5-gallon pails of Valspar Signature Ceiling Paint or HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Flat Ceiling Paint for just $148. Plus, get it delivered to your job site with free same-day delivery when you order by 2 p.m. Lowe's knows paint. Lowe's knows pros. Valid through 12/20. Delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime, forcing layoffs on the line. Call Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
Entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. It's Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Good Guys Heating and Cooling. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
It's Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, and guess what? Primetime football is back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high-hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. As always, offering the best food, the best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. So check them out, Capital Casino, and always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
With the cooler seasons upon us, Advanced Infusion Center remains focused on your health and comfort. Whether you're dealing with a chronic illness or in need of IV therapy, we provide tailored treatments to meet your unique needs. Our caring team is here to make sure your experience is safe, comfortable, and stress-free. With convenient locations in Sacramento and Yuba and flexible scheduling, you can easily access the care you deserve. Explore Advanced Infusion Therapy today. Visit advancedinfusion.com for compassionate care right where you need it.
Ho, 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 ho. Looks like you made the ice list this year.
Santa, don't you mean the nice list?
No, ice, because Prestigio Jewelers carries all the ice you need.
For over 30 years, Prestigio Jewelers has offered in-house financing and fine jewelry. Guaranteed credit approval between $400 and $10,000 with no money down options. Make this Christmas season unforgettable. The perfect jewelry, the perfect price, helping you build perfect credit. With locations in Sacramento, Stockton, Merced, and Fresno, or online at prestigiojewelers.com.
Serious accident. You deserve the law offices of Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237. Jeremy lost his mother in a car accident and knows firsthand the pain caused by tragedy. That is why he became an attorney to fight for others who are going through a tragedy. If you've been seriously injured in an accident, you deserve more. You deserve better. You deserve Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237.
Get huge year-end savings on the all-new 2025 Silverado. Now at Maida Chevy.
With $8,000 off MSRP after rebates on select new 2025 half-ton Silverado LT and RST.
And Maida Chevy has one of the largest selections of new 2025 Silverados in the Sacramento area.
$8,000 off new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy. Now that's big. Huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Available with special financing, leasing, some of their offers.
KHDK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports 1140. Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
One more hour with you, and then we will hand you over to the Drive guys who are in the building, getting you ready for Kings Nuggets. Here are the injury reports for both the teams as we start on this preview. You have what we just mentioned as far as Kevin Huerter. If you're just now joining us, Kevin Huerter will be out. Kevin Huerter is listed as out. Obviously, Devin Carter out. And you have Keegan Murray, who just got listed as questionable with an ankle. I need to text Brennan back and say thank you after the next break.
Oh, what's up, Sacramento?
Yeah, we hope we see you, Keegan Murray. For the Denver Nuggets, Conchar out with a knee. I was just talking to Kyle during the break about Deron Holmes, the second, out with Achilles. The Nuggets could have been even better. Haven't even been playing with him. Dario Saric out with an ankle. Christian Braun questionable with a back. That's big. That's big because Christian Braun is questionable with the back. Jamal Murray is probable with a hamstring. If the Nuggets, the Kings already missing Kevin Huerter. If the Nuggets, Christian Braun can't go, and then if Keegan Murray can't go, it's not a matter of evening it out, but at least you would feel like the Kings have a chance. If Christian Braun and Jamal Murray go and Keegan Murray and Kevin Huerter don't go, that would be tough sledding. It's already going to be a bit of tough sledding without Kevin Huerter in that bench role. But if Keegan can't go and Christian Braun and Jamal Murray can, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Not to say it can't be done, but it is going to be tough. The Nuggets right now sit in 5th place in the Western Conference, 6 games behind the Thunder. They are 13-10. They are 13-10 as the Kings sit at 500 at 13-13, 7.5 games behind the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Nuggets, and even though the Kings have played more games, and even though the records aren't the same, the teams are almost identical when it comes to ratings. The Kings' offensive rating is 116.4. The Nuggets' offensive rating, 116.4. The Kings' defensive rating, 113.3, good for 14th. The Nuggets' defensive rating, 113.7. So a little bit better the Kings are than the Nuggets defensively, which Michael Malone does not love. The Kings' net rating is plus 3.2. Good for 12th. The Nuggets at 2.7. Good for 13th. The comparisons continue on with Jokic and Murray against Sabonis and Fox. I think out here the conversation always has been, we'll give you Jokic, obviously, but the tandem of Sabonis and Fox, I think, deserves a conversation. The difference is they got that hardware. And Jamal Murray has been ridiculous when it comes to clutch, even though De'Aaron has more accolades than him. Really, Jamal Murray has dealt with injury, things like that. But when it's money time, you don't want to see Jamal Murray taking a shot against your team. It's always been like that. So the comparisons go on and on. We can continue them going with Keegan Murray and Michael Porter Jr. They just keep going and going and going. A lot of people thought that maybe the Kings were trying to build their team based on the Nuggets model. Then it became not the Kings particularly, but then everybody wanted to do the Timberwolves model. Then the Timberwolves didn't even want to do their model. They moved off of Karl-Anthony Towns, bring in Julius Randle. So this is going to be a heck of a game. I know there have been some fireworks whenever Sabonis and Jokic have played, and then you add in the dog of Russell Westbrook. He's always got something to say against other Western Conference teams, specifically in California. So I think this is going to be a really big matchup and a really good one. I think it's going to be incredibly exciting going into the season. I have not been that high on the Nuggets. I'm still not that high on the Nuggets. Going into the season, they had a little bit of drama where Michael Malone was talking about guys that didn't want to defend, and there were people out there that thought that he was talking about Jamal Murray And Jamal Murray, he also has dealt with really injury his whole career, to be completely honest with you. He's always missing games. Doesn't look like he will play tonight with the hamstring. He is probable. They add Christian Braun, who's supposed to be – look, you talk about the young studs. We spent so much time talking about Keegan Murray. What do you think the Nuggets think about Christian Braun, about Julian Strother? Okay, they think they got some dudes too. They just drafted Deron Holmes towards Achilles. They think that they got some dudes too. All these teams feel like their young guys are going to be big contributors moving forward. It's not just the Keegan Murray thing. So we were talking earlier, are the Kings overvaluing Keegan Murray? Probably, but all teams do. That's what they do.
And the Denver Nuggets have been a team from the very beginning that has said, we believe, or at least this version of the Nuggets. They Tim Connolly used to run the team. He left to go to Minnesota in 2022. So since then, the Nuggets have been firm on, we believe in our ability to develop talent like the Miami Heat, like the old San Antonio Spurs. We believe in our guys internally. They let Bruce Brown walk and said, you know how we're going to replace Bruce Brown? Christian Braun. I know it's Brown, but his name should be Christian Braun. I refuse to call him Christian Brown. It's Christian Braun. Christian Braun, rookie Peyton Watson, Strother. We're going to invest in the young guys in our organization that will then become impactful players. And then they let Bruce Brown walk. They let Kentavious Caldwell-Pope walk. And now here we are. It's the young guys are in put up and shut up time for the Nuggets. And I don't know about you, but it feels like their reputation ever since they blew the series to the Timberwolves, it feels like their reputation as a well-run organization has just gone by the wayside. Like all the good press they built up by winning the championship all went away as soon as they blew that series to the Timberwolves.
Yeah, well, I think that they let some stuff get out. It was very clear that Michael Malone did not want them to let KCP walk. He wanted to keep KCP. You know why? Because KCP defends his butt off. And they decided to let KCP walk. They said, hey, we're working with these young guys. What is it that young guys don't like to do? Play defense. At least most of them. They don't like to play defense. The other thing is, earlier this season, when they didn't get off to the hottest start, Jokic talked about the fact that they can't shoot. So as much as the Kings have been struggling with shooting, Jokic just said, hey, we don't really have too good of a shooting team either. So there have definitely been issues there with the Nuggets, and that's why they sit in fifth. They're not, destroying teams this season, but they got Jokic, and it's been a lot of Jokic this season so far. Jamal Murray, again, has been in and out. And I look at what Russell Westbrook has brought to the table, and he can get it going for a game here or there, but he's not going to take it to the promised land. I'm looking this up right here.
They also been running some DeAndre Jordan minutes too.
I saw that a couple days ago. I really did not remember that he was still who he played for. I thought he was coaching his kids' team. I thought he was done.
He's been there for like 4 years now. No one has transitioned better late stage in their career than DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, I'm looking here at teamrankings.com. The Denver definitely turned around their shooting. They are 38%. That's good for 8th in the league as far as shooting the three ball. So don't want to let them get hot. Last 3 games, they've shot 33%, so they've cooled off a little bit. But, yeah, they shoot 38% on the season. Cleveland's still sitting at number 1 at 39.9%. The Kings, you want to guess, Kyle?
Could you say that to me again?
Where the Kings are at, NBA team 3-point percentage.
I'm going to go 21st.
The Kings are 21st.
Oh, really?
At 34.4.
Oh, look at me. Oh, my God. What a stud I am.
They are 34.4% 3-point shooters, tied with San Antonio at 34.4. The worst 3-point shooting team in the league. And this is why they should be looking for Anthony Simons. The Orlando Magic at 30.8.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah. I didn't realize Orlando was down that bad. I know they need shooting real bad, but I didn't realize it was that bad for them.
Another team that I wonder if, because Houston, Fred VanVleet was getting roasted by Houston fans because look, man, he made a lot of money when they beat the Warriors, when he was on the Raptors. He had some good seasons after that, but he's not a guy. Fred VanVleet shooting a three should be like Tyus Jones shooting a three. That shouldn't be the first thing that happens, and that's what it is. I'm looking at Houston at 32.3% from three. They need to be looking at Anthony Simons or somebody.
They don't want to switch up the core, though. This is what they've been tanking 4 years for, is for these guys to all play together. And to your point about VanVleet, yes, Fred VanVleet exists for you to be surprised when he hits 3 straight 3-pointers.
Yes.
Like in the third quarter.
But he gets paid like he's supposed to.
Oh, I mean, but he's really good at other stuff. It's just the Fred VanVleet shooting specifically is like, you're just waiting for that stretch where he's going to bury 3 in a row. And for the Raptors, it happened in Game 6 of the finals. But normally you're just like, when is he going to finally hit those 3-pointers, like back to back to back?
He's just a walking he's due. He's just always due.
That's a great way to phrase it. It's just he's always due.
Yeah, and I'm looking here just as far as the 3-point shooting. And, hey, Allen, are there any other contenders that are worse than the Kings if the Kings are at 21st? The short answer is no. So the Kings are at 21st, or I'll even start higher than that. The only thing that can make you feel better is that Oklahoma City is 19th. In 3-point shooting at 35.1%, but we know they do a bunch of other things really well. But OKC is at 19th. The Lakers are at 20th. I'm not calling them a true contender. After that, it's Sacramento, San Antonio, Toronto, Atlanta, Portland, New Orleans, Philadelphia, Houston, Washington, and Orlando. So there are no contenders shooting as bad as the Kings or worse.
I don't know. I think Houston should be in that same group.
You're probably right.
Like if we're talking about that group of who are the 5 best teams in the West, I think for now we should say Houston. I don't think Houston's going to keep it up the whole season long, because they've also been remarkably healthy, and that's something that will probably, if law of averages is right, they'll probably have an injury or two come up later. But I think for now, Houston being as good as they are, despite being 28th in 3-point shooting, is quite surprising.
Let's continue the preview on the other side. Who's going to play, who's not tonight at Doco Golden One Center. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Nuggets. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7. Your exclusive home for the Sacramento Kings is Sacktown Sports 1140.
What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Kyle Draper for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. It's that time of year. You know what time of year it is. The Mercedes-Benz Vans year-end sales event is underway. Don't think twice, because it's the perfect opportunity to take your drive to the next level. They're perfect for any business needs. Mercedes-Benz Vans, they offer a wide range of commercial vehicles. Trust me on this. They got Sprinter vans. You could turn it into a worker cargo van, a worker passenger van, or how about just a plain old passenger van? I could do that also. They're fully customizable. And one of the things I love about their Sprinter vans, I'm a big guy, I could fit in them comfortably. So now is the time to head down to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. They can help you with all your van needs. Ask about customer cash and even special financing options. And business owners, now is the time to take advantage of those year-end tax breaks. So take the short drive down I-5 or go online anytime at mbofstockton.com. That's mbofstockton.com, and tell them your boy Drape sent you.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Can the Kings get it done? Would you say? I mean, not would you say. So this is really, if we go back to Malik being inserted into the starting lineup, and I know it's not as if the Kings are undefeated, but this is, to me, the first real glimpse into what we're going to get and to who the Kings seem to be or will be with Malik in the starting lineup, because that was that Spurs game that they lost. You had the Rockets game, which that one was just a we got to get this one. We got to get this one. You lost to the Spurs. You lost to the Blazers. Then you beat the Rockets. After you beat the Rockets, things just got a little weird. The Grizzlies, that game you should have won. That one was just a bad game, but you should have won that game. So you beat the Rockets, who the Rockets were red hot. We can't forget that. You beat the Rockets, you lose to the Grizzlies, and now this run that you've been on since, the 3 in a row, you've won 4 out of 5, have been against bad teams, and you almost tricked off the game to the Pelicans. So to me, this is a huge game as far as Malik in this starting lineup. Essentially, the only test that you've passed with Malik in the starting lineup is that Rockets game. And I think that Rockets game, there was so much on the line. They knew they had it to win that one. They dug so deep. I don't think that's a level that they can get to during the stretch of an 82-game span. That Grizzlies game, I really would have liked that one. Ja gets kicked out, and you still can't win it. So to me, these last 3 games have been nice, but let's put the pom-poms down for a second. You won games that you were supposed to win. Under the Malik starting regime, you have won the games you were supposed to win, and you lost a game. You lost a game that you lost 2 that you probably had no business losing. So what are you going to do tonight against a Nuggets team that has one of, if not the best player in the league? Their stud point guard is playing. They're fairly healthy, and you might be down. Because, again, to that point, okay, so now you're not going to have Kevin Huerter. You might not have Keegan Murray. So what? Is Monty not supposed to evaluate tonight? Or do we just say, oh, well, they didn't have their guys? Because if this is going to continue to happen, oh, my goodness. Hold on now. I'm trying to confirm this. Kyle.
What's up? Talk to me.
You should probably play the breaking news sound.
Oh, okay.
When it breaks,
We have it first.
it's Sacktown Sports Breaking News.
Sacramento State is in discussion to hire former Pro Bowl QB Mike Vick as its new head coach. Per sources, Sacramento State plans to move up to FBS, is building a new stadium, and has over $50 million in NIL. Sac State would build an experienced coaching staff around Vick that is in line with the new frontier of college football. So this is essentially their Deion Sanders plan, if you will.
Who are you saying this is?
This is Sac State.
I don't know if that's true, but let's see.
What do you mean? It's 5 minutes ago from Adam Schefter.
This is Adam Schefter saying it?
Adam Schefter.
Interesting, because everything was connecting him to the Norfolk State job the other day. So that would be a interesting development.
So it is not official yet, but Adam Schefter is tweeting it. I mean, there's probably a reason. So there you have it.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, you're right. I was shocked by that. I'm like, are we sure this? I know you know the drill with this. I'm like, are we sure this isn't a Adam Shuffler or something?
I checked. I saw 11 million and I said, okay, we can rock and roll.
Interesting.
Yes, it's funny enough because Norfolk State, that's where my mother went to school. So that would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
But,
no, wow, okay, that is interesting.
That's a new plan.
I guess this is interesting because Schefter also says in the tweet, Sacramento State plans to move to FBS. And nothing, I know Adam Schefter knows like things that we would just take for granted, but it's like, has there been any confirmed Sacramento State has a detailed plan to make a move to a Mountain West or something like that? I haven't seen anything like that, so it's super interesting that they're mentioning it right now. But I think besides that point, that is a capital S slam dunk hire if you're getting that kind of quarterback or that kind of name to come to Sac State.
Look, man, it sounds like money talks because if I'm not mistaken, Mike Vick is from Virginia. He went to Virginia Tech. Like I said, 4 hours ago, the Virginian Pilot says Mike Vick in talks to become Norfolk State head coach. Like I said, Shout out Spartans. That's my mother's alma mater. So for this to come out from Adam Schefter, that sounds to me like Sac State just came with the bag and said, hey, because Mike Vick has no connection to Sacramento or California as far as I'm concerned.
Nope, not that I'm aware of.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I knew he was trying to get into coaching, and I don't know if I would classify this as like going the Deion Sanders route type of situation, although Deion did obviously have no prior coaching experience and go to the FCS level to, I guess the quote unquote word would be skip the line a little bit. Like he was never an assistant coach somewhere and then was somewhat, after years of being an assistant, works his way up to a position coach and all that stuff. But I would like a little bit more detail before I actually detail the move itself, because it's just so out of left field that I really don't know what to make of it. Especially if Sac State does make the jump to the Mountain West or whatever else. If they were in Division 1A, would they have hired a first-time coach who has never had assistant coaching experience except for the high school level to take over the program like that?
Yeah, it's funny, man, and this probably isn't the time for it. I love how at the very end, Schefter says, Sacramento State would build an experienced coaching staff around Vick, a.k.a. we know he doesn't really know what he's doing, but he played the game at a high level. This is getting interesting because all of these jobs, it just pays to be good at sports, because all these jobs, whether it's analysts, not necessarily beat reporters, they're not on the beat, but analysts, coaching, all these jobs. And I know coaching has always been connected to playing, but again, it's less about the players in that perspective. And it's more about the fact that there are other players that got into coaching years before Michael Vick, but it's Michael Vick.
Yeah.
So we know that, I don't know, ex-quarterback that got a cup of coffee in the NFL, he might actually be a better coach, but it's NIL. We need to convince dudes to come here. And how do you get a bunch of stud quarterbacks? Tell them that Mike Vick is your coach. 530 is saying, is this Vick's way of getting more money from Norfolk State? I don't know how much money. Like I said, this is my mom's alma mater. I've been on the campus. I talked to them. I almost played baseball for the Spartans myself. I don't know how much. Are you looking at Norfolk State to get a lot of money?
No.
You know what I mean? You're not. This isn't UConn versus the Lakers here.
The Norfolk State hire was just because you're arguably the most famous football player in the history of the state of Virginia.
Right.
This is Sac State probably has a more, I don't want to say bigger, but just an NIL fund and an investment in football that is different because they're actively trying to make the jump to the FBS level. And
yeah, you don't go to a school like Norfolk State and demand more money. You just wouldn't. You would if Mike Vick was going to do that, then I think Mike Vick is better off being an assistant at a big school. You're not going to try to hamstring. I don't even know if I would consider Norfolk State a mid-major.
Yeah.
You're not going to hamstring a small D1 for more money because they don't have it.
I feel like this is, well, at least for Michael Vick, it doesn't make sense to your point. Why Michael Vick would go haggling a FCS HBCU school to try and get more money. What I think is interesting about this hire specifically from a macro perspective is you have head coaches at Mountain West and MAC and Conference USA programs that are leaving to go coach as assistants at bigger programs because that's what the money says is worth it. You have Chip Kelly go from UCLA head coach to Ohio State offensive coordinator because that's what the money says. In this modern age of college football, I don't know how you hire as an FCS school or even as a Mountain West type of school. San Diego State went out and hired the offensive coordinator of a 4-8 Colorado team because he was associated with Shedeur Sanders.
Yes.
So I don't know how you hire in the modern age in terms of program builder because those coaches are almost as year to year or 2 years away as these players are from jumping to the next job, even as an assistant coach. So in a world where I don't know how you make those hires nowadays, this is a interesting choice that some programs have made, but I would say some teams that like Bethune-Cookman thought about hiring Ed Reed. UAB hired Trent Dilfer. Other than that, this is like the splashiest, like famous name that you hire since Deion Sanders going to Colorado.
Yeah, I'm looking here, and this is just quickly on his Wikipedia. 2018, Vick was hired as offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Legends of the Alliance of American Football.
Ah, the AF.
I didn't think I ever wanted to coach, but talking about the game at Fox, it got me excited, like I'm out there playing again. So that's the only thing I can find.
The AAF, it's the only one listed on his Wikipedia page, which that was a defunct, spring league that lasted for 2 years, and then the pandemic ended up blowing it up.
Like they said, they will put an experienced team around him, so we will see what happens there. We'll get back to the Kings talk, but had to let y'all know that Mike Vick, that lefty, might be coming to Sacramento. Who throwing him the bag? If you're call in, if you're helping the NIL to throw Mike Vick the bag. What's going on here? Taking him out of his home state, my home state. I was born in Norfolk. Let him go to Norfolk State. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Nuggets. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip off at 7. Your exclusive home for the Sacramento Kings is Sacktown Sports 1140.
Did you know that replacing garage doors is the biggest return on investment homeowners can get on improvements? Jason Ross here, and let me tell you about the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, a family-owned and operated company with third-generation owners that's been in business for 71 years right here in Sacramento. With new garage doors from Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, you'll not only get the wow factor, but you'll also know that you're working with a well-respected and proven company. Residential and commercial, brand new garage doors, or repairs to existing doors, they do it all. Take advantage of their free at-home estimates on new garage doors or check out the showroom with no appointment needed. And while you're at it, mention me, Jason Ross, or Sacktown Sports and receive $100 off a new garage door paired with a new garage door opener. Check out their website at ohdsac.com or call them at 916-421-3747. Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, the genuine, the original overhead door. Always look for the red ribbon logo.
The holidays are always a great time to get together with family and friends, but nothing beats the thrill of Stockton Honda's deals. During Happy Honda Days, find the perfect ride in person or online. With over 400 new Hondas ready to go, now is the time to buy at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com. Based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company, sold on report.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people, obviously. But what's more, MediShare members like it a lot. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. Imagine that. And MediShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before December 31st and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is December 31st. So call now and you'll save even more. Here's the number, 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE, 877-26-BIBLE.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave coming to you from a good friends at American Energy. Look, it's already cold outside. It's only going to get colder. American Energy wants to help you stay warm and make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of the $49 tune-up inspection. Normally $119, $49 right now, and that includes a full safety and duct inspection. And check it out. If your system's over 10 years old, and I'll bet it is, the tune-up, yeah, it's free. It's free from a company that's been in business since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ Better Business Bureau. Check their Yelp, check their Google reviews. Don't take my word for it. Give them a call right now. $50 off your first recommended repair. If you need a new furnace, half off the price of a new unit. Check them out at theaeway.com and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. It's Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with good guys heating and cooling. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
Ba, 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 ba. Yep, 'tis the season. Hey, if you take pride in your gift giving, here's a great idea for you. Gift cards from the Good Feet store. Okay, so arch supports aren't exactly what they've been hinting for, but you know they'd love them. And with the Good Feet lifetime warranty, it's a gift they'll enjoy forever. Buy a Good Feet gift card now, and Good Feet will boost its value 20%. That's a 20% gift from the Good Feet store. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville, and in Reno on South Virginia Street.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
I know we do this every time a league or a team does the whole skip the line thing. We did it with JJ Redick. We've done it with Steve Nash. As far as the college is concerned, and whether you coached in high school or not at all, and whether or not that makes a difference, and if you're just now joining us, Allen, what are you talking about? Well, what we're talking about is Adam Schefter reporting that Mike Vick is in talks to join Sac State. Here is the actual tweet. Sac State is in discussion to hire former Pro Bowl QB Mike Vick as its new head coach, per sources. Sac State plans to move up to FBS, is building a new stadium, and has over $50 million in NIL. Sacramento State would build an experienced coaching staff around Vick that is in line with the new frontier of college football, a.k.a. making sure people got their money, making sure people feel like this place is hip and cool. And obviously I just got two more gray hairs saying hip and cool, but that is what he means by this new frontier. Adam Schefter says Michael Vick already has told the Virginian pilot that he has spoken with Norfolk State officials about that job. So if you are Mike Vick and he is from Virginia, like I said, I was actually born in Norfolk and my mom went to Norfolk State. If you're Mike Vick, the only reason I think that and people have been having some fun in the Sac chat about why he would be coming to Sacramento. Is he cousins with somebody? Is he a brother-in-law with somebody else? Whatever it is, I think it's just about that green. It sounds to me like Sac State found out that Mike Vick was interested in coaching, and I don't know if they heard that he was talking to Norfolk State and decided to put their hand in it. Somebody said on the 530, is this Mike Vick's way of getting more money from Norfolk State? I just don't think that that's how you go about it with a small school like that. These aren't, even Sac State. I know they got the $50 million NIL, but you don't pit one small school against another. If this was Alabama versus Texas, then I think you might be onto something. So just sounds to me like Sac State said, look at what we're building out here. I would have to do some more research on what Norfolk State has going. But, I mean, Sac State trying to get the Sac 12 and the new stadium that's coming, everything that the momentum that Sac State has right now. Maybe they found out Mike Vick was interested and said, hey, let's get that big name, and this is going to make everything look better. To bring it all the way back around to skipping the line, how much of this matters as far as Mike Vick and being a good coach?
Oh, not at all.
Because we don't know.
No,
he doesn't know. Nobody knows.
No, not at all. It means nothing as to whether or not he's a good coach or bad coach or anything like that. It is more so there are multiple routes to get to becoming a head coach at a major college level. And it seems like that's what Mike Vick wants to do. He wants to be a college coach at a high level. There is the, Michael Vick's from Virginia Tech, quarterbacks coach at Virginia Tech. If this coaching regime, which I don't remember, it might be Fuente who's at Virginia Tech, or someone new might be there now, but quarterbacks coach, if you see success, offensive coordinator, potentially a head coach at a Mountain West or a MAC job.
Yes, that's the normal path.
That's a path. This path of people who are having name cachet, Trent Dilfer, Deion Sanders. I know Ray Lewis was in talks about taking the Florida Atlantic job. That never turned into anything. Ed Reed was going to go to Bethune-Cookman, and that was a really messy,
that was a disaster,
complex situation that I don't have the time to dive into. But there are people who saw what Deion Sanders did and are replicating that in other places. And the fact that Sac State has motivations to get to a major conference and maybe name recognition is part of that, in addition to the new stadium, the NIL fund, getting a name that people recognize will keep them in the news cycle every now and again when something happens. But I don't know if that actually leads to any tangible results in terms of where they want to go. In terms of where Mike Vick wants to go, we'll see what happens in 3 years after he's gotten the chance to recruit his players and they compete in the big sky.
Let's start here, though. The reality of the situation is that Sac State doesn't really have a timeline yet for the stadium to be built. With that being said, as Sac State, they don't want to be. Look, everyone needs to understand their role or their rank. And I think that the number one thing that schools can do and people can do, to be completely honest with you, is be honest with themselves. And Sac State needs to understand, or probably understands, that they are a stepping stone. They are a stepping stone school, right? You are going to go there, a coach is, and the hope is they're going to do really well at Sac State, win a couple bowl games, and then they're going to move on to wherever. Now, next would be Oregon State, and then after they get to Oregon State, they end at, maybe Michael Vick probably just wants to get back to Virginia Tech. That would be my guess, right? Maybe. So owning that, and to what I'm getting at is Mike Vick probably won't even be the coach by the time this stadium is done. There's a good chance that he's not even the coach. For better or for worse, I tend to agree with you, just because college coaches don't usually last more than 4 years at a job anyways. And the only reason I can say the whole stepping stone remark is because Temple University is the same thing. Temple's good for a couple years and they leave. Okay. Golden, he left. Al Golden, he left and he went to Miami. You have
Manny Diaz left after like 2 months.
Manny Diaz didn't even step on campus. Okay.
Which, for those who don't know, Manny Diaz took the Temple job and then took the Miami job like 3 months later. Matt Rule, he sat. That was the last time the Owls were good. Matt Rule, they almost beat Notre Dame. They had college game day. It was huge. Matt Rule said, "Hey guys, I'm never leaving." Matt Rule left. He went to Baylor, and then he went to the NFL, and now he's back at Nebraska. All of those schools can pay him a lot more money than what Temple was paying. So you just have to understand it. Temple, personally, hasn't. And they've tried to still be a football school when in reality, they're a basketball school. Okay, they always have been, and they will always be a stepping stone school in football. They're mid-major. That's just what it is. Okay, Sac State it feels like striking while the iron is hot. We don't really care if Mike Vick is only here. Let's say Mike Vick turns this thing around, and maybe the stadium is done in 5 years. I don't know, right? Maybe it's done before then, but we don't really care how long Mike Vick is here. As long as it's some version of a success, it's an equal transaction on both ends. We got a bunch of good recruits. We got a lot more people talking about us. First Take will probably be talking about Sac State tomorrow. Yes. And that would never happen if Mike Vick wasn't involved, whether or not Mike Vick is good or not. Yes, and I think that point that you just hit on is the more important one to distinct here, and I don't know if we've said this yet. If the goal for Sac State football is to move to either the Pac-12 or the Mountain West, just get from Division 1B to Division 1A. Yeah. I know this sounds counterintuitive, but the head football coach often has very little bearing on the actual move itself. These are financial transactions, and you have to have a certain base level of competence. Like, you have to prove that you can put forth winning football at the FCS level. And guess what? Sac State already did that. They've won 3 Big Sky championships in a row. Their previous head coach, who was at Folsom High School 7 years ago, he's now the head coach at Stanford. They've proven that they can be a winning football team. So they don't have to worry about taking this to the bank and saying, look, we've proven that with a financial investment and a competent head coach, we can be a consistent power. They've already proven that. They won 3 straight conference championships less than 3 years ago. What I think is interesting is they've made the call that to prove that we can put forth a good football team, we would rather go the famous name with no coaching experience than the assistant. Use UC Davis, for example. UC Davis had Tim Plow, who was the offensive coordinator at Davis, went to work as an assistant at Cal Berkeley for 2 years, came back. He's the head coach. They went on a run to the quarterfinals this year, which is as far as Sac State made it during their best run, right? So they decided we'd rather go the route of famous coach, famous name with little coaching experience, but their name is bigger than our program, and therefore we're going to borrow that name than the traditional hire an assistant coach route this way. And I just think that's an interesting decision, regardless of whether they get to the Pac-12 or the Mountain West or not.
209 says Deion was coaching high school football with Shedeur and won a couple state titles. Yeah, that's probably the craziest thing. And again, we're continuing to, I don't think there's anything to find on Mike Vick because I just don't think he was coaching at the high school level. Deion, again, was coaching high school football with Shedeur. I'm looking up Trent Dilfer, right? Trent Dilfer was head football coach at Lipscomb Academy in Tennessee. Now Trent Dilfer is at UAB, all right, which is a D1, a smaller D1. But he at least coached in high school. Who is the comp for this Mike Vick thing?
The Virginian Pilot, which is who he was talking to before, it has the quote that says, Vick lacks formal coaching experience, but says, quote, I know how to lead and I know what it takes.
So not even high school. That's kind of crazy.
Yes, which, again, this is the other part about why I don't want to compare it to the Deion situation is, one, Deion went to Jackson State, which is an HBCU. 2, Deion had Travis Hunter, who just won the Heisman Trophy, willing to say, I will go play for you. And he had a future first-round prospect who was his son at the quarterback position.
Different.
It's different in that respect. But I think in 5 years, that's where I would imagine Michael Vick envisions himself being, is a head coach of a Division I-A program. And I would just say, we'll see if it gets there. But from the Sac State standpoint, you're willing to just borrow the platform now. You're willing to borrow the name of Michael Vick to buoy your program, hopefully win some games, and see where we are in 2 years. I don't think this is any different than hiring Joe Johnson, assistant coach at Northern Arizona or Montana State, to be your head coach. I don't see that part as being any different. You're just hiring a name that you're going to borrow with no bearing on whether or not it's actually going to lead to wins or not.
One more segment with you. Prop Talk, dog segment, and predictions tonight for the Nuggets who come to town to take on your Sacramento Kings. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Nuggets. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7. Your exclusive home for the Sacramento Kings is Sacktown Sports 1140.
The holidays can be tough for some, especially if things from your past are still following you around to this day. Now, don't be afraid of your past this upcoming holiday season, as an expungement can help. And that's where the law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez comes in, as he's local and has a great track record. Now, that expungement can help you get a job, get your life back in order, and you'll also get your constitutional rights back. He's offering discounts on expungements now through Christmas. Call 916-304-9187. That's 916-304-9187.
Ho, 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 ho. Looks like you made the ice list this year.
Santa, don't you mean the nice list?
No, ice, because Prestigio Jewelers carries all the ice you need.
For over 30 years, Prestigio Jewelers has offered in-house financing and fine jewelry. Guaranteed credit approval between $400 and $10,000 with no money down options. Make this Christmas season unforgettable. the perfect jewelry, the perfect price, helping you build perfect credit with locations in Sacramento, Stockton, Merced, and Fresno, or online at prestigiojewelers.com.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Welcome to Staples.
Help! My family's in for the holidays and I need gift ideas.
That's why we're here. Staples has amazing deals on everything you need. Photo gifts, laptops, and gaming systems. Even custom holiday cards and shipping solutions to send gifts to the family that can't make it.
Perfect! Have anything for Uncle Frank? I love him, but the guy is never quiet.
Noise-canceling headphones. For you.
You get it.
Unwrap huge holiday savings at Staples. And right now at Staples, save up to $350 on select computers. Ends 12/28, in-store only.
The most wonderful time of the year has officially begun at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet in Sacramento. This is the sale you've been dreaming of, with holiday hits on every aisle. 12 full days of unbeatable prices on only the best Makita products in town, and much, much more. Free batteries with tools, free tools with batteries, and bare tools starting at just $99. So check us out at 6701 Power Inn Road in Sacramento, or shop our Christmas deals online at fastenersinc.net. Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet. Better tools, better prices.
Hey, what's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, the Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening for the Wrap Up the Year sales event?
Wrap up our biggest savings of the year with up to $17,000 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram heavy duties. Plus, with over 400 new Rams available, including the hard-to-find heavy duties, your perfect truck is waiting at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center.
That is a huge selection of Rams. Probably why Hoblet is the #1 Ram dealer in California.
Not only do we have great deals on new Ram trucks, the Hoblet family dealers is growing with a huge selection of used cars at the Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Supercenter, with over 220 vehicles available and over 45 under 20,000.
Search, select, and save through our whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection, nobody beats Hoblet, period. 17,000 total net savings on select new 2024 Ram 2500 tradesmen's after 10,500 factory rebates and 6,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include 3,000 Hoblet inventory coupons while supplies last, 2,000 trade-in assistance on qualifying trades, 500 upfit, 2,000 California commercial business bonus cash. Business ownership and 500 upfit required. 5% net savings. Sample VIN 357313. See dealer for details.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland, and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
15 more minutes with you. Got a lot to take care of before we hand you over to the drive guys. And to that point, Kyle just told me that ESPN just posted I almost said Deion Sanders, almost posted the Michael Vick news. And it's not even done yet. It's not even official yet. And Sac State's now being talked about by ESPN. It'll definitely be on First Take tomorrow. It'll definitely be on FS1 tomorrow. This is what you're paying for.
Michael Vick might be on FS1 tomorrow.
Talking about it. Well, yeah, probably not. But it could be done by tonight.
Yeah, but he used to work there is all I'm saying. They got the connection.
It's interesting to me that this could go down and there's a world where he doesn't take the job. I feel like if it's gone this far, I don't know how he doesn't take it. I guess it's between them and Norfolk State.
Yeah, I just don't know how it came together so fast. My instinct, again, not knowing anything, speculation, okay, good, is that Sac State reached out to him.
Yes.
Because it's just, they knew he was looking for FCS coaching jobs, but it's such an out of left field hire that
it's got to be the bag, because even if you think about Mike Vick from a recruiting standpoint, I know I would imagine that I would imagine that the talent pool in California is definitely larger than Virginia. But Mike Vick, his bag was probably, so he was born in Newport News, Virginia. His bag was probably, I'm getting every recruit, right? Even, and here's the thing, with the transfer portal now, he could say, hey, you're dealing with all this drama at University of Virginia or Virginia Tech. Come to Norfolk State for 1 year. These small schools are getting treated like junior colleges now.
Yeah, I get that.
Let's come to Norfolk State for 1 year, do your thing, and then you can go to Virginia Tech with more NIL or wherever. He's basically, I would say, probably going to try to do the same thing at Sac State. Don't fall in love. I know these kids finally getting paid for their jerseys. Don't fall in love, because I think it's going to be same idea. Sac State churning out these dudes that probably didn't have any business going to Sac State anyway, but there's a log jam at Cal. There, and I just saw Cal's quarterback is entering the portal. There's a Fernandez. There's a log jam at USC, wherever. Come to Sac State, show what you can do, get your money right, and then be gone. It's different because he's got no connection, as far as I'm seeing, to California, where Virginia, he was that dude.
Yes, I think it would have made more sense in that respect in terms of local recruiting. I guess the argument you can make to that here is the Sacramento high schoolers who are not D1 athletes,
they're going to go anyway.
Yeah, they're going to go to Sac State or UC Davis anyways. So yeah. I guess that's or maybe Boise State. You know, the Boise State to Sacramento pipeline has historically been strong, but I just think you could argue those players are going to get there anyways. And to your point about it's here for a short time, not a long time, I don't think that really matters in this context. I think that Mike Vick being here is going to be exciting for the 2 to 3 years, no matter what. And in 2 to 3 years, maybe they go, 7-3, and they just decide to sign up for another one. What they're making the call on there is this is the route we want to go in terms of getting from 3 wins to 7 wins. And if that leads to him getting a job elsewhere, good for him. If it doesn't, then we tried something different. We tried something new and unconventional.
Oh, it's different. All right. It's unconventional. All right. All right. Let's get to the prop talk. There you go. Kyle, I'm going to let you go first, since you had some, you were, what would be the word I would like to say? You had the audacity to take this pick. Let's hear it.
Yeah, audacity, going against the Kings, whatever. I just I was curious when we were doing this before. I'm like, what is the number for Jokic points, rebounds, and assists? Because in my mind, I'm like, he has to hit that over every time, or it just has to be an absurd, 70 or something like that every single game. But it's 50. So, again, Keegan Murray might not be playing. It's going to be Jokic versus Sabonis. Jamal Murray's probable. Yeah. So, the Nuggets will be relatively at full strength. I don't know what combination he's going to do to get there, but I'm just going to assume Jokic is going to go over 50. Over 50 points, rebounds, and assists combined.
Normally, Sabonis and Jokic ball out against each other, right? Normally, both of them do their thing. Keegan Murray, questionable. No Kevin Huerter. Not me, but my buddy has gotten burned on this so many times, and I'm just going to, Kyle, you play roulette, black keep hitting, and you're playing red, or it's the opposite for me because I always play black. Red keeps hitting. It's got to hit sometime, and De'Aaron Fox over 24 and a half has to hit at he has to get over 25 points at some point again this season. Possibly no Keegan Murray, no Kevin Huerter. It's tonight.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray, Kentucky. Let's battle it out. It's tonight, guys. 25 points for De'Aaron Fox. It has to happen tonight.
And he was averaging 28 before this. It's only when they've made this switch to the starting lineup, he's magneted to 22.
Honestly, it's more so been right after the crazy weekend, and when DeMar, everybody came back, he just has not, I don't know if he's broken 30 since then.
Yeah, I think. Well, he had 30 in the game against the Hawks, but other than that, yeah, I don't think he's gotten there in a while. So and he's like magneted 22. It's like 22, 22, 18, 21, 22. I'm just like he's hitting that same number every time.
Tonight, 25 points, book it.
It's not like it's the Kings offense either. DeRozan and Sabonis both went over 25 in the last game. So it's just been a weird phenomenon. You're right. Also, I think there was a 24-hour stretch where Jokic had like 100 points, 40 rebounds, and 20 assists. So I'm like, I'm just throw it out there, man. I'm easy money on it. It's not even a Kings thing. It's just Jokic has to get 50 things happen to him tonight.
And they could easily still win. All right, Kyle, let's get to dog segment.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
You want me to go first here?
Go ahead. I'm just confirming the spread for the game tonight, which I do have, but you go ahead.
I believe they are favored, but they might have changed with all the injuries. We'll see. I've been riding the hot hand of Isaac Jones recently, our guy Hot Honey Jones, but I do want to switch it up tonight just because I want to show love to Mr. Colby Jones because he's probably going to be the 8th guy off the bench tonight. He's going to get run, and as we talked about earlier, he's been hit or miss offensively when he gets run. I'm not talking about the games where he has 4 minutes of cardio and checks out. When he gets real rotation minutes, it's been real hit or miss for Colby Jones. So I believe in you, young man. Someone from the Kings bench is going to score double digits tonight. They have to if the Kings are going to win. And I'm going to throw it out there for my dog tonight. Colby Jones, more than 9.5 points.
Wow, Colby Jones. That is a great pick, but not as good as this one. Let's give it to a throwback from last season. Keon Ellis, come on down. You have entered the dog chat. Keon Ellis will be my dog of the game. I think with possibly no Kevin Huerter. So I think Kevin, too many Ks. Keon will take some of those minutes, and he will get an opportunity there, and I think that he does really well. We see some of those 3 balls. And last but not least, you're right, Kyle. Kings favored by 1.5. That was 3 hours ago before the official news of Kevin Huerter, even though he was doubtful. So maybe didn't move that much. I know I keep getting in trouble by people based on whether I take the Kings or not. I'm just going to say Kings win by 2 points.
In honor of Michael Vick, the Kings win by 7 points.
There you go. All right. Thank you for listening to the Allen Stiles Show. Thank you to Kyle. Great job as always. Thank you to the callers, texters, Sack Chatters. You have the Drive Guys up next. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, Jay Johnson. Until tomorrow, secure the bag, light the beam.
Me and my white talk, short, feeling gassy, color, any caliber, I think I knew that's what